is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty, welcome aboard on a beautiful Wednesday, a Big Dip Wednesday, as we had a nice dip in the market. You know, it makes me happy when there's a dip. Yeah, baby, because, you know, I'm doing that neutron dance, lowering that number for my neutron dance. Yeah, and some of you can lower your number for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for Cardano, for Polygon, anything that you've been in, for you newbies, actually. For us veterans, it's not really lowering our averages, except my neutron. My neutron and Varner chain too, which is one I haven't really talked too much about. Varner chain is one that it's kind of it's a gaming it's a gaming and blockchain and DeFi company, and they just cut a deal with Google. So they're like at 5 cents, and so I'm just, you know, that's what I'm taking a dip on there. Got a small bag in that one, but I enlarged my bag of Neutron this morning, big time, and it was good. It was good. I love it. Lowered that average, baby. I had it in the $1.09 area. Now I'm under $1. Yeah, woo! I love it, man. I love it. You know me, I don't flinch on dips. I mean, if I'm not flinching when it went down to 16.5, I'm not flinching when it's at 42.8 or 43 from 45. But I'm not really. It's not about for some of you out there that are newbies. Yeah, it might help you for your Bitcoin for sure. But for me personally, I'm doing the neutron dance, bro. I'm just saying, you know. What is it, Pointer Sisters? Yeah, Pointer Sisters, right? Neutron dance? Yes. Yes. Anyway, good morning. That's the way I look. This is a beautiful morning. I mean, just an absolutely gorgeous crypto morning for myself. That's all I can tell you. But I appreciate all of you out there. I see Miles Deep is first out in Vegas. So it's either our boy in San Jose or our boy in Vegas, you know, doing the first stuff. That's impressive, man. The West Coast guys, you know, they're hardcore out there, man. Thank you guys out there. Thank you. Miles Deep, I don't know if I'm going to see you anymore now for that Vegas trip. I'm afraid that I'm going to be asking for my refund in a couple of weeks. Oh, man. It was, did you watch Hard Knocks last night? I wonder how many Dolphin fans said, I'll watch it tomorrow, the next day, you know, that kind of stuff. I was actually looking forward to watching it to see kind of what went on. And there are some things I do want to talk about that went on, that things that have to be tweaked. Unfortunately, it's stuff that, you know, we'll talk about today on the show. And we'll get to that, of course. Hey, we need a victory cigar for the Florida Panthers. Last night, 5 in a row as they hand the Coyotes a 4-1 defeat. Give them a victory cigar. I like it. I like it. And if you haven't been to the Perdomo factory here in Miami, 5150 Northwest 167th Street in Miami Gardens, they've got all the Perdomo cigars there. They've got a beautiful humidor with all the cigars there, folks. And by the way, since you're watching from all over the country, maybe Jamie Zorri out in San Jose, right? Miles deep in Vegas, right? But all over, we've got Perdomo lounges, Hoover, Alabama, Cigars and More, Trustville, Alabama, the Trustville Cigar Factory, Black Dog Cigar in Stuart, Florida, D&D Company at Haram, Georgia, Smokin' Bear Cigars in Steenburg, New York, Dan Cigars in Rosdale, Maryland, Up in Smoke in Clarksville, Tennessee. Take that last train to Clarksville. Club Humidor, Thousand Oaks in San Antonio, Texas. And Almost Havana Cigar Lounge in West Virginia. So you might have a cigar lounge near you. Unfortunately, none close to my man Jamie or Miles Deep, but you can go to your nearest cigar store, bar, and ask for a Perdomo by name, and trust me, you will love it. Okay? The new 30th anniversary is, out of the park. Rich. Freaking awesome. Great stuff. So check it out. Victory cigar for the Florida Panthers. I like it. I like it. I like it. What else do we have here? A little roll call. I see Crypto Fins is in. Jim Gleason. Thank you, Jim, for the kind words. Stephen Harris. Omar Geiner. I know you said if they lose Sunday, we have a shot to beat KC on the road in the cold. What makes you believe that, especially with all the injuries and bad coaching decisions? Omar, all that stuff is right. It's just Kansas City doesn't have a great offense. And they aren't lighting anybody up, dude. Nobody for weeks. They're not lighting anybody up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always just brutally honest with you guys. If I believe in something, I'm going to tell you. And if I don't believe in it, I'm going to tell you. That's it. Some guy was asking me because, he wanted a specific answer. So, do you still think Tua's elite? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not worried about Tua. Tua's not the problem for me now is not about the players. It's about the coach now and the atmosphere that he has created, unfortunately. And so these are things, and I will talk about that today on the program, because we have to talk about the real issues that are happening with this team. And so everybody's got like an agenda. Like that guy had an agenda and he just wanted to hear one thing, right? Because he's obviously not a Tua believer. And just like some of you out there, this is your chance, right? Kind of like the idiots that don't believe in Bitcoin or whatever, and then they get a little dip and you see? It's like, yo, bro, it's at 42, almost 43. Relax. It's nothing. 7% dip is nothing in crypto. You know what I'm saying? 10% dip is nothing. It's normal. People take profits, but everybody's got an agenda. And so, to me, the problem is with the coaching mostly, but Kansas City is not special whatsoever right now. Their defense is pretty damn good, but their offense, I'm not saying they'll win. I'm just telling you that I think that game they got a shot. This week, from what I've watched and the way Buffalo's playing, and as injured as Miami is, I don't have a lot of hope for this week at all, unfortunately. But in a twisted way, if you put if you put Jalen on Rashee Rice, and then you bracket Kelsey, they don't really have anything else. So I think you got a shot. You know what I mean? That's all. You got a shot. Jim Gleason says, I think the only way the Finns can win against the Bills, it will be if they don't waste any time with the typical chess match in the beginning of the game and go after them relentlessly, offense and defense. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Good morning, everybody. Hard Knocks is a lot less fun when you have a sour taste in your mouth from the crap performance. You're right. You're right. Can't argue with that one, Steve. Ray Sosa, Joseph is in. Jamie Zorrilla, the aforementioned Jamie Zorrilla in San Jose. He's hoping everybody has a good week. Remember to smash the like button and fins up. Poochie. Let's see. PFF and others were praising Duke Riley. I know since last year he's purely a special teamer. If you watch the tape, he can't cover in super bad angles. Yeah, he's a backup linebacker. He's not a... And PFF is not the Bible for anything, dude. I've said that for years. You never hear me praise the numbers of PFF or our team or whatever. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't really go for PFF. Do you know why I don't go for PFF? So let's say. So this guy has 4 sacks. So who did he play with this week? Did he play against the backup tackle? Did PFF actually, figure that in? That maybe he got his performance because he played against the backup tackle that week? You know what I mean? You got your sack, you got your interception. Was it a mistake by the other team and that's why it just came to you? But that's going to add to your rating and make you that much more of a player. And really, are you that much more of a player? Or did you just get lucky that the ball came your way? You know what I mean? It's just there's a lot of things that go on. A tackle has a bad day. Well, yeah, but he has a high ankle sprain. And he's kind of fighting through it, and he's got a brace and all that kind of stuff. So you're grading him how? There's a lot of things that go on in a game that PFF cannot tell you, and why they downgraded or upgraded somebody, it may not be justified. Example, have I said they're going to sign Christian Wilkins? No. Why have I said they're not signing Christian Wilkins? What does he get his sacks against? Okay. His sacks don't come against meaningful games and meaningful teams. So, but PFF will have a higher grade for him because he's got 8.5 sacks. How come he didn't get a sack last week like Sealer did? So, PFF is complete horseshit. And that's what I've always said. If you've watched this show, if you've followed it over the years, notice how you don't have me ever quoting PFF. Oh, PFF has this for our linebackers. PFF has this for our corners. PFF has our quarterback rated this way. I don't do any of that. You never hear me ever quoting PFF. Notice. Think about it now. Think about it. Those of you, Poochie, Gus 1388, Horn Dog, Kyle Cockrell. There's a lot of you, regulars, miles deep. Think about it. Oh, hey, PFF has the Dolphins. You ever hear me say that? Never. PFF is a load of shit. Okay? A big hunk of load of shit. There isn't a dump site in this country that's big enough to handle the load of crap that PFF delivers. And we have a lot of lazy writers, right? Because they don't watch the games actually and do the work themselves. And they go lazily by, their rankings and stats like it's gospel. And it's not even close. So, don't go by PFF. Just like a lot of times, some of you lean on completely on stats. Sometimes people in the media do that also, and stats don't tell you the whole story either. Got to watch the games. You watch the entire game, it actually tells you the story. let's see. Steve Chapman. I got you there. Okay, I got that one. All right, where are we at here? Kyle, Horn Dog, Gus 1388, One-Eyed Jack. Emotional Hard Knocks last night makes me ready for Sunday night. It's a long Sunday night. Nico says, I'm starting to lean more towards and thinking that the Bills will win in a close game this Sunday. Dolphins are just too depleted right now. It's hard, man. And I haven't seen this coach overcome this kind of stuff. He doesn't overcome this. I haven't seen him. He doesn't, like I told you, he doesn't even have a counterpunch inside a game. When you figure him out in a game, he has no counter to it. And he needs weeks and a year to come back with a counter. And that's not good. Skylar says, morning, last night's Hard Knocks had me laughing when they tried to get Fangio to talk. That shit was so badly scripted. Yeah. Just Vic, just can you stand there and tell us about your safety, please? And so he just, there you go. Forced comment on the safety. And it was just like, it wasn't in the meeting because you're not going to be in his meeting. It wasn't anything personable or anything. It was, can you stand at least here on the podium, Vic? Because we haven't had you on the show, really. And just tell us about your safety. And there you go. So, yeah. Alexis, Chad, Marco, Rosendo says, embrace this Wednesday. Hope and faith. Blessings are on the horizon. Sunday will be a crown AFC East champion. Stay calm, battle the storm, keep the faith, and stay strong. Notice how you didn't say that the Dolphins will be the AFC East champion. Sunday will be crowning an AFC East champion. He didn't say the Dolphins will be the one crowning. Nice job by you, Rosendo. Nice. I noticed that right away. Steven Gonzalez. Aaron Hernandez, I thought you were dead. He's alive. Hope you guys are having a great week, and thanks for always providing premium insight to South Florida sports. We appreciate it. Aaron, you are welcome. Okay? Cosa Nostra. How was Hard Knocks last night? We got some stuff to talk about. NorCal is in the house. Good morning to the greatest show host, producer, and listeners. Fins for life, puff, puff, give. Like NorCal should. Terry Lynch in. Roderick Freeman says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Just as you said, I guess Dalvin Cook wasn't the savior of the Jets, and some foolish Dolphin fans were thinking, and media, because you had some in the media thinking that Dalvin Cook or Jonathan Taylor are going to make this team special, make them a contender, put them over the top. That is some funny-ass shit. Okay? That is some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. In a league that devalues the running back, we got people thinking that the running back is that valuable. I mean, you can't make this shit up. It's like, do you cover this league? I always wonder about that. So you're media and you cover the NFL and you're not watching the trend of the last 5, 7 years, 8 years that teams don't want to pay. Teams don't want bell cows anymore. In fact, outside of Derrick Henry, is there one left? So you cover this league? Are you sure you cover this league? Are you sure you're watching what they do in this league? I understand when fans don't see it. I get that part. You're fanatical. You're blind. You just are thinking Dolphins and aqua and orange, and you come up with silly shit, and you think, a player's going to put you over the top. But the media, I got to hold your feet to the fire. So you think Dalvin Cook or Jonathan Taylor are going to make this team a Super Bowl contender? That's freaking hilarious. Okay? That's some hilarious shit right there. That's the kind of hilarious shit that I say, yeah, you're not watching this league whatsoever. Vinar chain back up to 5.5 cents. All right. Anyway, it's out. You can get it on crypto if you want. I'm not a financial advisor, but it's at 5 cents. And you know what I like about Vinar chain? By the way, I forgot to tell you about this. Okay, so it's got DeFi, Vinar chain. Okay, it's got smart contracts, and it's got gaming, and it just cut a deal with Google. Okay. And the market cap is $66 million. It's a little tiny market cap. Little tiny market cap. It's not even 100 million. It's 66 million. This thing can flip so many times over. It's ridiculous. Okay? And by the way, their entire coins are all in circulation. So when they cut this deal with Google, I'm like, so you're a small company and you just cut this deal with Google. You know, that I'm in. I'm in. I gotta get on board. This is it. And so I took the dive and got a bag. It says Vinar has now partnered with Google Cloud to bring carbon neutral infrastructure to the masses. Vinar will work with Google Cloud for a new tech approach for billions of consumers globally. So there you go. Vinar. There you go. Okay. So if you're looking for something to take a chance on, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Just a guy that likes crypto. That's all. That's all. But I mean, we got stuff that's like 100 million, and that's considered a small market cap, and it could turn into a billion. And we have, plenty of companies that are 10 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion. You know what I mean? And this thing's like 66 million. So it can flip many times over. Again, not a financial advisor. Do your own homework. Okay. Yes, sir, Sean. What do you got for me?
I wanted to. Whoa.
All right, go ahead.
I wanted to defend Rosendo here because he did respond back.
What happened? What did he say?
He said Sunday will be crowned AFC's champion.
Oh,
so he did say the Dolphins. So he wanted to make sure that he did put that in there. I saw that down at the bottom, and I know you're going through the chat, but I wanted to make sure that got hit on first. I wanted to make sure Rosendo knew.
Okay. All right. Nice job by you, Rosendo, going out on a limb. I like it. I hope it happens, man, because I fear the hell out of this game. Big O question: do you think the Dolphins should bring in JPP off the waiver? It was probably something that the old man didn't like, because they signed him and he was here for a couple of weeks and they got rid of him right away. I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't feel he fit or something. I don't know. Or
was there any activations at that point with the IR? Was there?
There was, but I mean, he's right. You have all the injuries. You have space
to bring him back, because he brought back Ingram.
Yeah,
and then I mean, I don't know. There had to be something.
Yeah, there was something there that didn't jive. You know what I'm saying? At this point in the season, you would keep somebody if they can help you out. It's like we have Dalvin Cook now available, right? Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Super Bowl, baby. Yeah, baby. Dalvin Cook, right? I mean, if you want to go to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, according to some in the media, right? Locally, nationally, right? Dalvin Cook, you got to sign him because, yeah, bro, he'll help you win against Buffalo because he's going up against his brother. Key, very important. By the way, his opinion of the Dolphins has apparently lowered because he hasn't signed with the Dolphins right away. But anyway, so why not sign him if you're the Dolphins? You could get him for nothing. You're signing him for one game, so it's the NFL minimum is probably what you're going to get. He got his money already from the Jets. No, he gave back the prorated portion of what's missing. So whatever, you get as a game check, you're not getting it this week for the final week. So whatever, 8.6 million prorated one game, that's what he gave back. You can do your math and do the 17 games divided into 8.6. And that's what he gave back. Big deal. Whatever. It's not a big for him. It's the freedom of getting onto a playoff team now. And that's what he's going to do. So I don't know if it's going to be Miami or something else. Now, if I'm Miami, I wouldn't mind signing him for the game, for the remainder of what's left of our season. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much you can count on it and how much really it's going to make a difference at this point. I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference, to be quite honest. Well, it all depends on who you ask. Some people may think, hey, you add him now, you make a run right through the Super Bowl. Yes.
Are there any teams that need running back help? Because, again, he'd be a luxury with the Dolphins.
Kansas City, you can have him to back up
Pacheco,
just because you really don't have Edwards-Helaire has not been very reliable. You know what I mean? So that's one that I can think of right away off the top of my head that you can do it.
Trying to think of the NFC too. I can't think of any.
I hate to say it, but he can go to Buffalo to back up his brother just to hang out with his brother for the last couple of games. You know what I mean? And he knows he's not going to play in front of his brother, but he gets to hang out with his brother. He's on a good team and, whatever. So I'm trying to think of a contender that like San Fran, backing up McCaffrey. Because McCaffrey
has been getting dinged up lately.
He always gets dinged up. I'm actually surprised he's stayed this healthy, to be quite honest.
Now let me ask you
he's always injured.
Another question, because most of the NFL rules a lot better than me. Can Dalvin Cook sit out this week and then sign with the team right before the playoffs? He's got to be signed before the playoffs.
I believe he has
the last game.
Yes, okay. I believe you can't sign for the playoffs.
Okay.
I think you have to be on the regular season roster.
At least one game, and then you can. Okay.
I believe that.
I was just wondering if he could just sit back, wait, and then join a team right before the playoffs.
No, because I think in the playoffs, the only thing you can do is elevate your practice squad guys. Is what you can. I think. Rules change all the time. Big O, seriously, what's going on with Cam Smith? Eli Apple sucks and Cater has regressed. Please give me your opinion. Cater's physicality is a plus and a minus. Okay? He's the best tackling corner we've had in 20 years. Okay? He's the most physical corner we've had, my Lord, corner. Oh, you got to go back to Blackwoods. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember a corner that wanted to knock your head off. I'm not saying that about Surtain and Madison. They were great cover corners, but they weren't like physical. They weren't like Cater. Troy Vincent was physical, actually. Troy could get a little physical with you, but I would still say Cater's more physical than I have to go back to the Blackwood brothers. That would be the last time that I would say I would consider a physical corner because he wanted to knock the crap out of you. Blackwood brothers would knock the crap out of you. You know what I'm saying? So the thing with Cater, you don't want to take away his aggressiveness because I love it. But he has that Browning injury, a disease. And what I mean by it, there was a corner for Seattle by the name of Browning, right? And he was a very penalty-prone player. He was a good corner, but he had his moments where he'd pick up penalties, and you kind of knew that was part of his game. And why? Because he was a physical corner. So with Cater, it's an interesting dynamic, right? Because he's there a lot to make plays. Notice, but he's too handsy. And so he's got to learn that fine line where and when to get physical and where and when to be finesse. And he's young and he's green and he's still learning. So I wouldn't even come close to thinking of giving up on Cater Kohu. I keep playing him, and hopefully he will learn to balance it out because he has a skill set that you cannot teach. There aren't a lot of corners like Cater Kohu's toughness and physicality. As I told you, I have to go back to so long ago to find a physical corner. The Vontae Davis one that's a good one, Jayhawk. It's actually a really good one. Actually, I like that one a lot. Before the Blackwoods, I could go with Vontae Davis as a physical corner. That's a very, very good call on your part. Very good, Jayhawk. I like that one. That's strong. Now on the other side, Eli Apple is terrible, and clearly Cam Smith must be lost as hell. He must be effing it up in the classroom. He must be effing it up on the practice field. He must not be ready. And they clearly have no trust for him. I don't need them to tell me this. Your actions speak everything. You need somebody to help you out, and you can't use your second round pick because you refuse to. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like he's getting in trouble or anything off the field or anything like that. But clearly, he must not be getting what they need. And because this defense has so many responsibilities to it, and there's kind of a give and go with it, right? If you're not adjusting well and you don't know where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to pick up, maybe he's a guy that excels in man-to-man, and it will take him a little longer to develop the instincts to be a better zone player. And that's kind of probably the issue with Cam, because man-to-man, he actually is built for that. But I think is where he's struggling is the zone and where he's supposed to be at times. So this is part of the growing process. Lots of corners, by the way, don't figure it out in their first year. But I will tell you this, he better figure it out next year. You can't be waiting years 3 and 4. It's like I get this thing with Mike McDaniel now when what I've been talking about lately, and people, you got to be patient. Yeah, how long? How long are we supposed to wait for Mike McDaniel to figure it out? Patience. That's a very interesting word that Dolphin fans use. You can be patient with a player for how long? How long can you be patient with a coach? Because you have contracts that you have to pay that expire, that you have bigger contracts that are coming up. You end up losing flexibility. You don't have time. You really don't have a lot of time for patience. Because think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain this to you. So he figures it out in year 6. So what are you paying Tua now at that point? What are you paying everybody else? Waddle and everybody else, and Hunt and everybody. You gonna wait 6 years? You gonna wait 5? How much cap flexibility? How good can you be then? Will it be harder than it is now? Yes, right? It will be. So what is the patience for Mike McDaniel? Because I love hearing that part. And in a salary cap world where contracts expire on a 3 and 4 year basis, very few at 5, how long do you wait? Why do you think I'm playing chess and everybody else in the media plays checkers pretty much? Why do you think I'm ahead of everybody else saying year 3, he has to show us drastic improvements? Because you can't keep waiting. You'll be wasting talent. Contracts will expire. You have to pay new contracts. You'll have less cap space. There are consequences to the patience. Do you realize that? No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't realize it. You don't have the luxury of patience. It's the cutest word out there that football fans and now our Dolphins are using. But he's got such potential. You got to have patience. Do you realize what the consequences are for patience? That's why I told you, I'm not talking about firing him at all, but I am talking about what I've been talking about the last couple of days. He has to get it in year 3. You don't have time. You just don't have time. We can't keep changing coaches. Okay, but if he doesn't get it in year 3 and he keeps making the same exact mistakes he has made in years 1 and 2, what do you do? Do you say, we wait another year for patience because he might get it? Meanwhile, the front office has handed you a team that can win 10 or 11 games. Because they should have won it last year, right? It's just the injuries. You lost your quarterback for 5 games. That hurt you. This year, your quarterback's been healthy the whole season. You won your 10 games. You won 11. Should have won 12 with Tennessee. So, how long's the patience? It's a really cute word, but do you think of everything else that comes with that? Can you keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting? And if in year 3 he doesn't figure it out, what assures you he'll figure it out in years 4 and 5? Because doesn't he show you little examples throughout the first 2 years that he's hard-headed? That he will stick to his ways no matter what? And if it fails, he'll continue to do it. And if it fails, and he'll continue to do it. And if it fails, he continues to do it. So what makes you think he'll get it in year 4 if he doesn't get it in year 3? That's why I told you the last 2 days that if year 3 is the same as years 1 and 2, you will be asking for his head. The media will be asking for his head. I have to be honest. Got to be honest, man. It's what's going on. So they got to figure it out. Joseph says, I believe we will beat the Bills. I hope so. I hope so. He gets one more year, Big O. Well, he's going to get one more year no matter what, and maybe another year. But I'm telling you that after next year, if he doesn't get it, hot seat is coming. And people will be flipping out, and so will the media. I've seen this story before, man. And unfortunately, the improvement from this year, from last year, is not on the coach. It's that the quarterback stayed healthy. This ain't Don Shula that when the quarterback gets injured, he wins, with Don Strock, or he wins with whatever, comes off the bench, Doug Peterson or whatever. This guy doesn't win without Tua. Okay? So the only difference from last year to this year is that Tua stayed healthy this year. And that's why you've got all the wins that you have. It's not because Mike McDaniel did anything better, because he wasn't better. The only thing he did better was that he did commit better to the run this year and still abandoned it at times throughout the year. There were still moments that he didn't do what he was supposed to do because of his stubborn ways. Something you have to think about. But it's very cute, the word patience, and you don't think of the big picture of it at the moment when you're just saying patience. Nobody's talking about getting rid of the guy after year 2, but after year 3, if it's the same stuff, you'll see. Let's see. Big O, have a wonderful year. Thank you for the great 2023 coverage of our team. Thank you, sir. Greer should sign all 4.28 40 guys on offensive line. They'll get into blocks faster. Cut Greer. I mean, we have stupid people all over the world, and Harvey is definitely one of them. Cut the best front office guy we've had here in 30 years. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Correction, Noah Igbenogany situation, but yes, I agree. Greer, we trust. Alan, I got to tell you, would you put Cam Smith or Noah Iggy as a bigger bust? Alan, I got to tell you, man, stupidity is an issue in this country. And, we just see it from what was the one idiot? We just saw it from Harvey. And now for you, Alan, first of all, Cam Smith can't be a bust just because, the first year you don't play well or you don't get on the field. You know what I'm saying? So was Patrick Surtain a bust? Or you're too young? Is that why you're saying something stupid? And Igbenogany was a receiver that was converted to corner. But at this point, to be labeling, Cam a bust, it's just ignorance, bro. That's all. Some guys get it right away, and some guys, it takes them a little while. And then to point out the Noah situation, see, that's where it proves that you're an ignorant and bitter and dumb fan. Alan Tabor. You cannot point at Noah when you hit on X, when you hit on Fitz, when you hit on Javon, when you find Needham off the street, when you sign, you make a trade for Jalen Ramsey. I mean, the amount of corners you find Cater off the street, you find people that help you out. Like in the secondary, they have found a lot of guys. And the only real bad swing was Noah. So what I keep trying to tell Dolphin fans when you complain about Noah, it makes you sound stupid. Because the amount of hits in the secondary compared to the misses, it makes every Hall of Famer in baseball shameful. Because the guy bats like 700 or 800 with the secondary. He finds safeties. He finds corners. Brandon Jones is another player that he found. To complain about Noah when you've hit on practically everything else, think about that. The amount of hits and home runs that Greer has in the secondary compared to the strikeouts. No one, not even Ohtani, the greatest baseball player of all time. Yeah, he is, by the way. He is.
the greatest, because we've never seen a two-way player like this, ever. He can't even hit the way Chris Greer does in the secondary. So I want a lot of you out there to look at the macro, not the micro, because you keep living on Noah, just like the whole 2020 draft, and now you look freaking stupid because a bunch of you idiots kept complaining about the 2020 draft, and the 2020 draft has become one of the great drafts of all time. You found your right guard, your right tackle, your quarterback in there. I mean, that alone is a hit besides Brandon Jones. Raekwon, not a total bust, but not a hit, kind of a pick. And then there's another player in that draft. There's one more I'm missing, besides Noah, of course. But it was a monster draft. It ends up becoming one of the great drafts of all time. It's some of you out there, you gotta really look at what you're saying. And to keep complaining about Noah when the same guy found the two of the best young safeties in the NFL. In Fitz, and he was forced to trade him because of flow, and then he says, oh, okay, well, then I'll go get Javon Holland. Who does that shit? I'm just saying, if you don't want to look stupid, I get it. If you're talking to somebody else that's stupid, and you're both going, oh, yeah, no, wow, Chris Greer, yeah, wow, what an idiot. No. Both of you are idiots. Just want you to know that. You know what I mean? So even Cam can be a bust. I don't think he is. We'll find out next year. But even Cam can be a bust. And his hit ratio in the secondary is ridiculous. Yes.
Solomon Kinley in the 4th. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, but no.
Or was there somebody else? I'm just looking at the draft picks.
No, maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's it.
You had Brandon Jones in the 3rd.
Right.
2nd was Raekwon.
Right.
Then you had Robert Hunt also in the 2nd.
Robert. Right. Well, I said that. Right guard, right tackle.
Yeah, you said right guard, right tackle.
And the quarterback. That
and
that
it was
alone.
Noah,
those
Austin
three.
Jackson, and Tua in the 1st.
Okay. I mean, that's a sick draft. Sick draft. You know? Yes.
Don't read Harvey's comments on there, by the way.
Harvey's not very smart, so it's hard to read his comments. The same people who blame Tua for everything that goes wrong with the Dolphins. Yeah, that happens. What is the excuse of not playing Claypool then? He was great with the Steelers. McDaniel doesn't know how he is doing. Plain and simple. McDaniel just likes some players and doesn't like others. Edward, dude, he had a touchdown in his hands. I mean, Tua threw 2 touchdowns that were dropped in that game. Tyreek and Claypool. You can't do that in a game like that. And you're Claypool, you're not playing a lot. When they give you a chance, Edward, you got to shine, dude. I got to blame that on Claypool. He didn't high point the ball. He didn't try to catch it with his hands. He's 6'4", can jump through the roof, and he's down on the floor waiting for it to basket catch it. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. If you're Chase Claypool, you've got to be better prepared for that moment, dude. I disagree with you on that one. You know what I mean? I have a lot of complaints with Mike McDaniel right now. He needs to figure shit out quickly, okay? But that's not one of them. I can't do that because the guy has not shown when he has the opportunity. So you got to catch that. Christian says, I can't stand Eli Apple. Yeah, Eli Apple, I mean, but that's why he was out on the street at that point. You know, your secondary now at this point, it's just depleted. And X is not himself anymore. You know, it's kind of running out of gas. So what are you going to do? Javon Holland was out there playing with two knees that I don't care what he says. He wasn't himself. It's been a mess right now. It's been a mess. They're not healthy, and they're not in the kind of shape that you need. Van Ginkel is the other pick you're talking about. Yeah, but it wasn't that year. Van Ginkel wasn't that year. He's a 5th rounder. But yeah, it wasn't. I think Van Ginkel was the year before that. Oh, we got Matt? All right, let's do it. All right, let's start off hour number 2. Matt Verderam, Sports Illustrated. Next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, my man? I know you're feeling a lot better than the Dolphins Nation, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine I probably am feeling better than most Dolphins fans at the moment, yes.
Yeah, it's the choke job of choke jobs. I mean, it was as bad as it gets last week, and that was despicable. That's all I can say, my brother. And I thought they were getting ready to try to cross that kind of threshold, and they went back to being the same old Dolphins.
I watched that game until it was 42-19, whatever the hell the score was, and Baltimore scored 42 points. What was alarming to me, look, the offense didn't play well. They dropped some balls. I didn't love the plan, but I mean, defensively in that game, and I know Chubb got hurt, I get it, but Chubb got hurt at the end of that game. Like, there were guys wide open all game long. I mean, wide open. And I went back and I watched the film.
I mean, like, it was really like any quarterback could have
like Keystone Cops, like joke, like almost like a joke. I mean, it was. I went back and I did my all 22 piece I do every Wednesday for Sports Illustrated. I don't know if it's up yet. It'll be up this afternoon. And I broke down the Zay Flowers touchdown, 75-yarder. And if you watch that play, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple route combination. I mean, it is just Flowers goes in motion. He runs a go down the right side. The Dolphins are in quarters. Eli Apple's got him all day long. I mean, your only job on that play is to watch your quarter of the field and not get beat deep. And Eli Apple ends up trying to guard Isaiah Likely, who's standing in between the hash marks. And, I mean, it's pitch and catch. Like a college quarterback throws that for a 75-yard touchdown. And I'm not taking anything away from Omar. He was great. But, like, the Dolphins made that so easy.
The whole game.
The whole game. And now you look at this Bills game and go, okay, well, is it going to change or is it going to get worse because Chubb's not playing and Howard's not playing and so on and so forth?
Yeah. Let me ask you something because you're a KC guy. Did Tyreek drop touchdowns often in Kansas City? Because he drops them here.
I don't remember him doing that. I mean, God knows I'm sure it happened here and there, but I don't
like it happens often here.
Yeah, I don't ever remember that being like a talking point.
Well, here's my talking point. Mike McDaniel. And my problem is, while I love his offensive mind and he knows quarterbacks, and clearly he and his staff really know offensive linemen because they've done a marvelous job with, we've got like 10, 11, 12 deep at times.
Right.
And they can run the ball and do things even with a backup. So there's a lot of things to like about him. But hey, I want to be your friend, coach. You also create an atmosphere, and it's interesting. I'll talk about it later, but I'm going to mention it here in your segment. There's a part in Hard Knocks where Tyreek goes to his teammate this past week. It played last night, and he says, if you make a mistake, fuck it. I've been around for a long time. I don't think if you play for Don Shula or Pat Riley or Eric Spoelstra, you're going to say, well, if I make a mistake, fuck it.
Yeah, well, you would say that
no. And so you've had this, lazy fair attitude. This, I want to be your friend and everything is all right and everything's positive and everything. And, there has to be a fine line of ball busting also along the way. And there has to be a level of respect. And I'm wondering if Mike McDaniel's style is, while it's fun for us, I don't know if it creates the discipline you need, because this is a team that has pre-snap penalties. That they've only won one challenge in 2 years. You do know that, right?
I actually didn't know that. That's great.
It's 2 for 14, I think it is.
That's crazy.
But one of them was by accident because they had a guy running off the field on a special teams play, and the referees threw the flag, assuming it was a 12th man. Mike McDaniel challenged it, but because he kept the special teams coach, which he should have fired last year, Danny Crossman, that was the 11th man that was running off the field.
Okay.
So the incompetence of the special teams coach allowed Mike McDaniel to win his second challenge. And his only challenge he's won this year, by the way. Okay, so the only challenge he won this year was by mistake, by incompetence of his coach. And so there's a lot of mistakes going on this team, from drop passes to pre-snap penalties to not getting plays in on time. The 2-minute warning this past week. Like, yo, bro, why are you rushing this play? What are you doing? You're on their 42. Why are you rushing to get a playoff in the 2-minute and 3-second mark? Let the clock end. Take advantage of that 2-minute warning. Wait. You got play. What are you doing? Hurrying up to give Lamar Jackson the ball back? And so there's a lot of shit that goes on every game, and it's been going on for 2 years now. And I think he has to grow up as a head coach, not the play caller. Head coach.
Well, he does, but he also is who he is, and that's why everybody loves him when they're scoring 70 points against Denver, because he's fun and he wears nice watches and he doesn't have a hair out of place and he's funny at the press conferences. And look, that's all great until you get your ass kicked. Then it's not so funny anymore. And I got to tell you, and I'm not saying he's this coach because he's not this coach. He's a lot better than this coach. But like the first year Brendan Staley was in Los Angeles, there was a whole lot of that. Like, hey, he gives great answers, and he's a cool guy, and he'd be fun to hang out with at a bar. And it's like, yeah, that's great until he goes for it on 4th and 2 at his own 12-yard line. Then it's not so funny anymore. Look, McDaniel is a good football coach. The problem with McDaniel, in my opinion, is sometimes he's too cute for his own good. Like this game against Buffalo. Okay, for an example, I remember, we've done this spot now for a few years. I remember last year when they were in Buffalo, we both talked about the fact going into that game, they've got to run the ball in this football game. They have to run the ball. And they ran with unbelievable success and then stopped doing it and completely went away from it. This weekend, if they're going to win this game, they're going to run the football. That's how they're going to win this game. Buffalo is 29th in the league in yards per carry against. They have been a sieve. If you're going to run the ball and run it effectively, they're a great team to do it against. And you've got Achane, you got Mostert. That's how you do it. If he tries to throw the ball 45 times in this game, they're losing. I promise you they're losing. Like, that's not the recipe to win this football game. But with McDaniel, sometimes he gets in these modes where he just puts blinders on. And it's just, this is how I'm going to play. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. This is how I'm going to do it. That being said, when you get beat the way they got beat in Baltimore, that is a collective failure. That team was a disaster that day. I mean, there is no way around it. Nobody played well. Nobody. So now, look, this is a gut check. You're going to make the playoffs. If you win this game, you're the number 2 seed in the conference. You will have a very advantageous first-round matchup, probably against Pittsburgh. And then you'll have a second-round matchup that, okay, maybe it's against, I don't know, Kansas City, probably 2-3 matchup. Like, fine. You'll take your chances in that game. If you lose, you've blown the division, you've lost 2 straight, and you got to go to Arrowhead in the wild card round. And the Chiefs are not infallible. God knows Miami could go in there and beat the Chiefs. But like,
they actually have. I think they have a better chance of beating the Chiefs than they do the Bills. Actually, to be quite honest, I think.
So I never thought about it. It's interesting.
Because I would get Jalen Ramsey and put
Maybe.
him on Rashee Rice, and then try to bracket Kelsey, and then try to do my best the rest of the way.
Hey, listen, that game they certainly could win it. I actually like thinking about it because I knew we'd do this.
I'm terrified of this game, dude. Like, I'm terrified. Like, I think they're going to get walloped.
I am picking Buffalo to win the game. Look, if I'm the Dolphins, what I would do in this game is I'd put Ramsey on Diggs, and I would put it safety over the top of Davis the entire game and beat me anywhere else. I don't care. I mean, they don't have any other receiver who scares you. The tight end, I mean, Kincaid's a good player, but I don't think he's going to destroy the game. Like, beat me anywhere. I mean, Diggs has not had 100 yards receiving since the beginning of October. I mean, he's been awful down the stretch. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm just saying, I'll give you these 12-play drives, and I'm going to go ahead and bet that Josh Allen is not patient enough to take them. That would be my gamble in this game. But, yeah, listen, it's the Bills have beaten up the Dolphins in the recent years. They just have. So, what do you have? I mean, if you're the Dolphins, like, it's a gut check. What do you have? What do you have in you? And maybe it's just that the defense is just worn out at this point, and Chubb's out, and Howard's gone. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe against an Allen, maybe against the Mahomes, that's going to kill you. But I think that's how you got to play. And offensively, they got to run the football. If they don't run the football in this game, they're going to get smoked.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And the other thing that I've been talking about is I haven't seen improvement that much in coaching from McDaniel from the first year to the second year. The only thing I do give him credit for that he was able to stick more to the run. There were still moments where he abandoned it this year, but nearly not as much as he did last year, where he really abandoned it a lot of times. And you're like, yo, dude, you average over 4.5 yards a carry, 5 yards.
Right.
What are you doing? In that Buffalo game you talked about, they were averaging 7 yards a carry.
Yep.
And they abandoned the run. 7 yards a carry. That's insanity to do that. So this is what I said, okay? No, nothing about firing because I like him. I want him to succeed. But here's my problem. The only reason you've improved this year and wins is because Tua's healthy. That's the only reason. It's not really because you're that much greater of a coach from last year to this year. You're making all the same mistakes over and over again. If he continues to make the same mistakes over and over again, and he, they sputtered at the end last year, but it was understandable with the injuries. This year you have more injuries, but you do have your quarterback, and you're sputtering again because think about it. If you lose this week, you're 2-3 in your finish.
Right.
If you lose to Kansas City, it's a 2-4 finish. Okay. If you go through next year and you do the same kind of stuff, it's a hot seat for him. I guarantee you by the end of the year, fans and media will be saying, yeah, this is not the guy, man. The team's talented and he's not getting the max out of it. Do you agree or disagree on that?
I don't think he's going to get fired.
No. But hot seat at the end of
Maybe
next
I
year.
think people will be frustrated if that happens. I think they'll be frustrated. I don't look. I think he's done a good enough job, and they look. It's easier sometimes to forget after recent history. The Dolphins have been a tire fire for 20 years. So McDaniel's come in, done a nice job, right? I mean, I remember saying that same thing. When early this year when Dable, the Giants had all these issues, and be like, they're going to fire him. Like, they're not going to fire him. Like, they started the playoffs last year. McDaniel, I think, has done a good job. My biggest concern with McDaniel, like I said, is just there are times when you watch him,
game management.
Look, man, this just isn't that hard. Like, this is the easy part. Your scheme's great. That's the hard part. Like, the easy part's like, hey, how do I manage the game? Now, that being said, Andy Reid's going to walk into Canton. It took him 25 years to learn how to manage a clock. Okay. Because now he's pretty good at it. When he got to Kansas City, my God, man.
In Philly, he was terrible.
Even the first half of his tenure with the Chiefs, I mean, there would be times where they'd blow every time out they had in the third quarter. They very, very rarely struggle with that now. But when he first was there, oh my God, they did it all the time. But, this is to the point we were talking about. The Dolphins.
By the way, that you should be used to that. You had Herm Edwards there.
I don't want to talk about that. Like the
you and I have never talked about that.
I can't talk about Herm Edwards ever. One of the more embarrassing periods of my life.
Well, you got to admit, when we talk about clock management, he might be the king of. Wow, he is terrible with clock management.
Yeah, and you know what? That was like the 12th biggest problem he had. Yeah. And then they replaced him with Todd Haley, who actually, comparatively, was like a beacon of shining light. And then they replaced him with Romeo Crennel, who gave us the worst year of coaching I've ever seen in my life. I remember there was a press conference after they lost. I mean, they were 2-14, so they lost every game. And some reporter asked him why Jamal Charles only carried the ball 4 times. And he looked down at the stat sheet and was like, yeah, that's not good. It's like, it's going to be a long year. But in any event,
Romeo was just a coordinator.
He was a great coordinator, but couldn't coach.
Never
but listen, the point with the Dolphins is like they lead the league alongside Baltimore in rushing touchdowns, 26, and yards per carry at 5. And yet, Baltimore this year, number 1 in rushing attempts. Miami is 14th. And they've led tons of these games. Like, run the ball. But like all these nerds who are like, analytics tell you should throw 60 times. No, like you need to run the ball. And in this football game on Sunday, they've got to run the ball. They've got to be willing to just say, look, we're going to shorten the game. We're going to help our defense. We're going to get Tua in these advantageous spots. We can really hit them with some big play action passes. Like that has to be the way you play in this football game. And if McDaniel sits there and they throw the ball 40 times, they're going to get smoked. That's happening. I mean, you can't. Now, the one caveat I will say, Josh Allen, everybody's talking about the Bills as this absolute rolling machine at the moment. Josh Allen has been awful for a month straight. Like, if you look at Josh Allen's numbers the last 4 games, he was hideous against New England. Had an interception, completed half his passes. The Cowboys game, as great as they were collectively, he threw for 95 yards, completed less than half his passes. Against Kansas City, he threw for 5.5 yards per attempt and had a pick. And against the Chargers, it took a last-second comeback to beat Easton Stick. Like, this is not exactly a team that's just on fire at the moment. So I could, as much as we've sat here and talked about the Dolphins and what they got to do, I got to be honest with you. I could also see a scenario where the Dolphins go in there and just beat the daylights out of them because the Dolphins are keyed up to the hilt for this game. And Allen throws 2 picks and Diggs has 30 yards receiving and Gabe Davis has 1 catch. I mean, that also would kind of track with all the things that have gone on in the last month or so with Buffalo.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. All right. Lions. I mean, first of all, the league and the whole thing with checking in with the players and the video looked kind of fishy, and I'm not exactly sure. Still, I don't know what the hell really happened there, and if the referee was confused, because that could happen too. But in the end, take the point, bro.
Yeah, oh my God.
Take the point. You know what I mean? This week with the Dolphins, midway through the third quarter, You're down by a shit ton of points. You score a touchdown, you go right away for the 2-point conversion. It's like, yo, dude, you don't need that 2-pointer right now. If you fail, you're making the hole again bigger for you for no reason. You got plenty of take the point right now. The week before against Dallas, he chooses not to do the field goal on 4th down, goes for it. No 3 points. At the end of the Dallas game, you need that final drive and those 3 points in order to win the game where you would have had those 3 points, in the bag. I don't know. There's this thing now in the league where screw it. I'm just going to go for it all the time. And
right.
I'm not sure that puts you, I'm not saying every scenario calls for it, but there are scenarios where it's obvious. McDaniel, take the 3 points. Dan Campbell, bro, the football gods are telling you down after down, this is not a good idea. Dude, it's like watching Tin Cup all over again.
It's look, I agree wholeheartedly that there is this epidemic now in the NFL where you just think, hey, it's 4th and 6, might as well just go for it at the 20. And then these teams lose by a field goal. And it's like, well, you can't blame that. That's just an aggressive decision. Sure, I can. If you have a yellow light and you could stop, but you're like, you know what? I'm good. I think I can make it. And then you go through and you get hit by a tractor trailer. Well, guess what? Like, that was an aggressive decision that didn't work out so well. Like, that's on you, man. Stop at the yellow light. At some point, I do think there are times, like, I don't mind them going for 2 initially. Okay, you have momentum. You want to try to get the win. It's on the road. Cool. When you get backed up to the 7-yard line, kick the extra point, bro. Just kick it. Like, what are we doing here? I like Dan Campbell a lot. I think he's a very good coach. But, like, at some point, I feel like you're just trying to almost prove yourself. Like, we're not going to back down. We're not going to back down. Okay, great. Now you're going to lose because you're trying to get 7 yards on a play, and there's not a team in the league that averages 7 yards per play. So, like, I don't think it makes sense. You see some of these coaches. Now, listen, I will say this. If you have a team that maybe needs a spark, you got to get going. Okay, I get it. There's certain things to factor in. But like McDaniel in that Dallas game, just kick it. Just get 3 points. Like you're and then to throw a fade to Cedric Wilson is just, I mean, come on. Like, if you're gonna do that, good Lord, man. I mean, throw to Tyreek. Like, have your best play for him. But I agree. I think there's a lot of times now in the NFL. It's funny. We went from in the 90s where if it was 4th and 1 at the 38, it was like, send on the punt team. That's it. Like, can't possibly pick this up. To now, it's 4th and 12 at midfield, and guys like, I don't know, they leave the offense on, see what happens. Like, yes, I think sometimes situational football has gone out the window in the sake of just being aggressive, which I think in a lot of cases is just being dumb.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's such an odd thing to watch the way they just give up easy points that are there for you, and then you're just making it that much harder on your team. And then the Lions are a perfect example. Now you find yourself pointing fingers at the referees and all that when, dude, you had the fate in your own hands. You could have taken the point, go to overtime, and take your chances, and you win that damn game.
Right.
And then it's you move on instead, and you got your win. It's just something that I really, don't understand overall. So who are your favorites right now?
Well, I mean, right now it's got to be Baltimore and San Francisco. I mean, it has to be. I mean, Baltimore, to their credit, has beaten the absolute hell out of 4 or 5 different teams that are going to make the playoffs. I mean, they've just killed them. So I would say it's Baltimore and San Francisco. I will say this, though. I have very little faith. Like, if you said to me, would you bet $100 to win $100 that's going to be the Super Bowl? No.
No shot.
I mean, I don't think they're both going to get there. One of them probably does. And I'd have more faith in the Niners to do it. I know that drives Ravens fans crazy. And they'd sit there and go, come on, did you just see this game, see the Niners game? I get it.
It's just a sandlot form of football that I just don't think will end up winning in the playoffs.
My opinion is, look, do I think the Ravens right now are the best team in the AFC? Yeah, I do. Do I also think that I've seen this movie before with the Ravens? Yeah, I have. And I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like, the only caveat would be, right now, who are you ultra confident in going in there and beating them? I mean, you can't say the Dolphins after that game.
No, God. No.
I mean, is it
Plus,
Buffalo?
they're too injured now. Plus, they're way
Yeah.
too injured now.
I mean, is it Buffalo? Maybe. I don't know. Like,
Buffalo would be one of them for sure.
you know,
KC has the defense.
that's the thing. I mean,
They
Kansas
don't have
City.
they don't have the offense, but they have the defense.
I mean, could
That's the
Kansas City
problem.
go in there and beat them 20-17? Yeah,
Right,
they could.
right. It
I
has
mean,
to
look,
be right an ugly game.
the
Yes.
feather in the cap of the Chiefs is that they've been there a million times, and if they get into a game that's tight in the fourth quarter, they know how to win it. They
No,
just
they can
do.
play defense. Your
Yeah,
team
I
can
mean,
play defense.
you know,
I don't trust your offense.
oh, nobody does.
That's my problem with Kansas City right now. That's their bugaboo. They have a championship defense.
Yes.
They don't have a championship offense.
No question. And I think, look, I mean, to me in the AFC, you've got to say it's Baltimore. I'm not the biggest believer in the world in Cleveland. Like, I get it. It's a fun story. But, like, I will say, though,
foundationally, they're exceptional.
The question for me with
you got
Flacco
the running
is, like,
game, you got the offensive line, you got the defense.
right.
The
I
QB
wouldn't
just has to not screw it up, and you're kind of like competitive in any game with Cleveland.
I agree. I think Cleveland, by the way, for the record, I think Cleveland's going to win its wild card game. I think they're going to beat whoever comes out of the South. I think they can go to, like, let's just play it. So if you have a scenario here where, let's say Miami wins on Sunday night, okay, and they play Pittsburgh in the first round, I think Miami will kill Pittsburgh, okay? And I think the Chiefs will kill either Indianapolis or Houston. I just, in a playoff game at Arrowhead, I shouldn't say they kill them. I think they beat them. If that happens and Cleveland wins, Cleveland's going to Baltimore, which would be Joe Flacco in Baltimore. It'd be fascinating. And then Kansas City and Miami having a rematch from, October, November. It would be interesting. I mean, the AFC to me, the biggest thing with Baltimore is, can anybody get out in front of them? That's the thing. I mean, Baltimore is a totally different team when you can get up on them. You can take away a lot of what they do. The same true with the Niners. But if they get in front of you, you got a problem. And, they certainly have been a problem for many weeks now.
They split with Baltimore. They lost 28-3 the first matchup in week 1.
Yep.
And then week 2, Cleveland handed them, where the hell is it? I just saw it right now. They handed them a 33-31 defeat. It was a close game in that one. Watson actually won that game.
Well, and they were trailing significantly in that game. They came back and won. The first game, Dorian Thompson-Robinson started for the Browns.
Right.
So they
Cleveland outscored them 16-7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. No, Baltimore was up like double digits in the second half of that game.
I see. Let me tell you something. I see a lot of Cleveland in your team in Kansas City. They both have excellent defenses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really about the offense kind of bailing them out. And Cleveland's offense actually is a little better than Kansas City's, except Kansas City has the quarterback.
I was going to say, I just trust the quarterback a little bit more.
Right. You trust the quarterback a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Cleveland's weapons and their offensive line and everything, that combination is better there. The thing is, with Flacco, while you trust Mahomes, Flacco is still a veteran who doesn't give a shit, dude.
No,
that's the beauty of this.
He's a great story.
Right. He is playing looser than anyone in the NFL because he doesn't care, dude. He's not even supposed to be here. Right. So it's scary to play somebody that has nothing to lose. And Joe Flacco has nothing to lose.
That is true. I think they will beat whoever comes out of the AFC South. I think after that, I'd have a hard time picking them. And then, with these other teams, I mean, look, Miami, what is the draw? If Miami's at home, I think they'll win a game or two. If they have to go to Arrowhead, I think that's tough. Any team going there in the playoffs, that's a tough spot. I think, Kansas City and Buffalo to me are the same team. In terms of, like, I could see them losing in the first round of the playoffs, and I could see them find their way to the Super Bowl. But I wouldn't bet on either one of them. So it's.
But I give Buffalo at least over Kansas City a slight edge that they can be explosive offensively. They can be. Whereas I don't know if Kansas City has it in them at all.
I don't think they can.
Unless they can get some turnovers and have some short fields or something. But this year, I don't know what it is, bro. That offense is just too discombobulated.
No, I agree. I don't think they have the explosiveness. The reason I think they're about on par with Buffalo, though, is I think Buffalo also, especially in the playoffs, has shown they can beat themselves in a way that, even though the Chiefs have done that a lot the regular season, I just trust the Chiefs in a playoff game more than I trust Buffalo. Like Buffalo's had a history of they almost lost to Skylar Thompson.
I know.
I mean, this is a team that like that's why Sunday night, and we'll leave it at like anything's in play for me. I'm picking the Bills, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Dolphins blew them out. Like I really wouldn't be. I could see a scenario where Allen just throws 3 interceptions in this game and they go home. I mean, it's a weird, weird team. And I do think they get more shine a lot of times than they necessarily deserve. Like they're 10-6. They've mangled half their games this year, including the last month. And people are like, they're unstoppable. They're going to the Super Bowl. And you're like, they barely beat New England, who had 4 turnovers in the first half. Like it's just they're a weird team. It's very strange.
Yeah. And Skyler, if his head coach knew the downs, he might have ended up winning that one. All right, what do you got going on Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
Yeah, so we're gonna have all the same stuff this week as normal: quarterback rankings, matchup to watch, film study, so on and so forth. My running column on Sunday, but then we're also gonna have starting very early next week team grades for the off season. I'm writing a piece right now on the officiating, talking to a lot of people in the league for it. That'll be out, I believe, next week, right before the playoffs start. So I'm going to have plenty of bylines. So if you want to go and check them out, go ahead. Go check them out on SI.com or on Twitter at my handle.
Good stuff. And follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Matt, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up next week.
You got it. Take care. You too.
Got it. There you go, Matt Verderame. And we are here at Top Gun Indoor Range. Good people, Steve, everybody out here, family atmosphere, folks. And one of the things that you notice when you're in here, and I tell you all the time, the latest in air quality, and Sean's my witness. I've gone to a bunch of gun ranges, and you have that smell of lead, and you don't want to be smelling that lead. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I love about what they do here at Top Gun Indoor Range. And those of you are going to come out, we're going to have a date for you later this week. I will finalize our shooting competition here at Top Gun. So they've got the latest targeting systems and everything. They have an archery range here, largest indoor archery range in Dade County, which is absolutely awesome. One of the real cool things they do here at Top Gun is that they have mini leagues and mini tournaments on weekends. The gun range, 18 different lanes, up to 25 yards deep, which is the longest distance of any indoor range in Dade County, folks. And listen, the world we live in now, right? Things get a little crazy. I mean, you saw Ian Ziering get attacked on the street there in LA, right? I mean, this is kind of the way it is nowadays. And, sometimes the ladies are home alone and you have your guns there. And you know what? Are they trained? Do they know what to do with them? Well, guess what, folks? They have self-defense classes here at Top Gun Indoor Range. So the ladies can actually learn basic pistol, concealed weapons courses, and they've got them also in Spanish. So si hablas español, we can take care of you here at Top Gun Indoor Range. Tactical nights, competition. They got bowling pins and all kinds of different targets. And they've got memberships. And the memberships, by the way, the higher the membership, the better the discounts from gun cleaning. They even have a membership that includes unlimited shooting. That is pretty damn cool. All right. So guns for you, guns for the wives, the girlfriends, rifles. They've got all the major brands, Glock, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, and they're right off the Turnpike. Super easy to get to. Right off 120 and the Turnpike. Top Gun Indoor Range, 305-306-7333. And tell them that Big O sent you. And we are here right now. So come on by and say hi. Love to meet you. All right. What do we have on the chat board? I believe we have things headed in the right direction with Greer, Coach McDaniel, and Tua so far this year is an improvement on last year. We have the opportunity to take the division. The improvement on last year is only because the quarterback is healthy, my brother. The coach has not improved. Don't lie to yourselves. Okay? All right? The improvement is because Tua is on the field. because you weren't winning games without Tua. And that's why you did not reach more wins last year, because Tua wasn't around. So the improvement is only because of quarterback, nothing else. The coach has not improved, and that's why I keep telling you he better improve next year. I know it's coming. Shane Pupo, thank you for the love on Venmo. Appreciate you, Big O, in speaking your language. If Finns lose on Sunday, we might as well be called the FTX Dolphins, a bunch of frauds. Yeah, it's kind of what we're going to look like. I don't have, I already told you guys, I don't have a lot of hope for this Sunday, to be quite honest. They haven't shown me anything to be hopeful for on this one. And the crazy part is I kind of think they can win next week, the following week against Kansas City. There they got a little bit of a shot because Kansas City's, that offense is just not there where it needs to be. By the way, Hialeah Park, we've got sports gambling now at Hialeah Park. You got to go to the website, the HialeahParkCasino.com website, and you can get in there and use the QR code that's right there next to me. And here's the thing. I just want to give you a warning ahead of time. I'm out here to make you some money, okay? If you already have a Hard Rock account, okay, when you sign up for this one, do not use the same email. Do not use the same phone number. Use a completely different phone number, a completely different email, so you can get the $100. In other words, you're going to open up a different account because it goes through Hard Rock, but this one's the Hialeah Park one. But if you want the free $100, okay, make sure you go through the website. And if you have a Hard Rock account, now if you don't, you don't have to worry about it. But if you do not, I repeat, do not use the same email or phone number you use for your Hard Rock account. Use a completely different email, a completely different phone number, whatever it is you use for this account here at Hialeah, so you can get the $100. Use that QR code there and check it out. All right. Let's see. Yes, Tua should have thrown 9 touchdown passes to make up for the bad defense. Then he would have been good enough. Have some faith, Big O. It's not, dude, I'll be rooting as a fan. My heart will be in it. But I don't do this job, okay, as a fan. There's plenty of YouTubers out there that are fans. Okay, and they're always going to pick the team, and they're going to look at everything with, aqua and orange glasses. I don't do that. I look at it objectively. And as much as it might pain me, I'll tell you, I don't think the Dolphins will win. Does it mean that I'm sitting there rooting against them? No. I want them to win. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be rooting for them. But I've got no reason to believe that they can win on Sunday. None. They have not, the head coach has not shown me that he can get his teams prepared for these kind of games. Unfortunately, that's just the way. And the head coach has not shown me that he can make the kind of calls on a consistent basis to get it done in these kind of games. So I would love to play the fan game, but I do this as good as I can possibly do it, but I always do it objectively. And I call it like I see it. If I don't think they're going to win, I'll tell you, man. It sucks, but I'll tell you. Big O, can coaches get credit for improved offensive line and making Tua more aware to avoid getting hit? Yeah, that I could give him credit for the offensive line. There's no doubt about that. I agree. Tua's health has been a big factor this year, and the coaching has some impact. Yes, but the reason why it's because Tua stayed healthy this year. He did all those things in the offseason, the jiu-jitsu and beefing up the upper part of his body, which, by the way, helped him in landing on his shoulder this past week. That he was built up. I'm sure that helped him take that impact there. Richard Saylor says, Happy New Year, Big O. Our Dolphins have not lost back-to-back games this season. I believe they will show up and win Sunday night. Yeah, they haven't played a good team on a back-to-back. That's the problem. They play crappy teams. So we need to have an interview with Brad the Bugga Belamonte on his pick for the game. You should go find that interview somewhere, wherever you want. I have no idea who that is and have no interest in any of that silliness. Matt Verderame said he could also see Miami blowing out the Bills if only Josh Allen played mediocre like he does with every other team in the AFC East outside of the Dolphins. Exactly. I wish I could see the Dolphins blowing out the Bills. I don't see that at all. God, that would be heaven. Wow, that would be cool. But no thought. No shot. Big O, thought. Do you think McDaniel should turn over the play calling for in-game calls and just let him be the head coach? Just let him be a head coach, maybe just too much for him? He'll never do it, my brother. His ego will not allow him to do that. He wants to be the play caller also. His problem is not so much the play calling. That's not the worst part of his game. The worst part of his game is his game management. That's the worst part of his game. It's like I tweeted out yesterday. There's a lot more to being a head coach than drawing up a bunch of cool plays for fast guys. And that's just the brutal honesty. You know, every night some nights, we like to find our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night. Sometimes you can't because sometimes there isn't one or somebody didn't play. But last night, the Florida Panthers were in action. And last night, a Cutter's Edge MVP showed up.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Alrighty. And like I told you, we're going to go to the Okie game last night. And last night, our Florida Panthers went over to Arizona, and they took care of the Coyotes 4-1. And in that game, Carter Verhaeghe had a goal and an assist in that game last night. And Carter Verhaeghe has been just an absolute monster for the team. By the way, the Florida Panthers have won 5 straight games. And at the same time, Bob last night, that's the other thing. You could tell that they played pretty good defense. Why? Because he only had 21 saves. Verhaeghe, by the way, has 34 points on the season. He's got 19 goals and 15 assists. By the way, his 19 goals are only second to Reinhardt. It's amazing. Tkachuk only has 6 goals on the season. 22 assists, but he's got 6 goals on the season. And Verhaeghe has been just, Verhaeghe for 3 straight years now has proven that he is, even when you had Barkov and Huberdeau, that year where you went to the playoffs and you had a nice playoff run, the most clutch person out of those 3 was not Barkov, was not Huberdeau, it was Verhaeghe. And that's kind of where he made his name with Cats fans. And since then, he has continued. And this year, dude, 19 goals and 15 assists. That's amazing. And last night, a goal and assist, leading them to their 5th straight win. They will take on Vegas at 10 o'clock on Thursday. And when it comes to Cutter's Edge Pro, there is nobody better in landscaping than William Quigley and Company. They've got over 70 trucks here in South Florida. They are your MVP solution where you will expect excellence and you will get excellence. You don't get it with the Dolphins all the time, but you will get it with Cutter's Edge Pro every single time. I told you the story recently. I had a buddy of mine that saw my artificial turf. I told him, bro, call Cutter's Edge Pro. He went the cheap route. Okay? And he went and got some estimates and got a company that did it real cheap. And he did it like 6 months ago. And now he's got grass growing through it. And mine is approaching 2 years. And I have nothing. Not one blade of grass. Okay. And by the way, just to F with him, I send him video. Like I go out with my dogs and hang out, and I send him video of it. I go, hey, bro, check it out. Cutter's Edge Pro. They do it the right way. You want to save yourself a penny and do it the cheap way? Go ahead. You're going to pay for it, and you're going to have 2 different grasses. So now he's in the middle of a litigation and everything. It's just a pain in the ass. Why? Because you didn't hire the people that do it right. The people that, put like real trees, like healthy, big-ass trees in your yard. Cutter's Edge Pro. The people that design and engineer the installation the proper way. Cutter's Edge Pro. Okay? And they do it all throughout South Florida. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. Doesn't matter where you live. They've got like over 70 trucks. You'll see their logos everywhere. That's why Carter Verhage and William Quigley are your Cutter's Edge MVPs of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right. Bitcoin up over 43,000. I mean, it's just a matter of time. That's all. But hey, kudos to those of you out there that took advantage of it. That's for damn sure. Good for you all out there, man. The Van Art chain did not drop much. That is amazing how a lot of things dropped. Almost a lot of altcoins had a nice drop. Like Neutron had a beautiful drop. God, it was such a welcome drop from Neutron. So good. So happy I was able to load up on that one. But man, because this dip, it's a little dip, but it's good for the newbies. For me, it's not, because it doesn't really lower anything except for doing the Neutron dance. That's how we roll here on the show. We do the Neutron dance, which is a beautiful thing. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Big O, I lost faith in Miami because how bad the defense played on Sunday. Fangio's strategy only rush for. Well, he doesn't rush a lot of guys, and they have more pressures than most people in the NFL, and sacks. They're right up there. So his system works, but the problem is you need the better players to be at their best. And X definitely is not at his best anymore. And then clearly Javon Holland, my God, he was not ready to go. Nick Needham doesn't have, he's not himself yet. It's an Achilles injury. It takes a bit to come back. It'll be next year. What have I told you to already for next year for Jalen Phillips and Chubb? They're both going to come back late in the season, right? What did I tell you? So what? They're not going to be themselves till the following year. Nick Needham's not going to be himself till the following year. And you don't even know if he'll gain his, because it's an Achilles. That's a little bit of a gamble whether Nick Needham comes back to full form. Injuries, man. I hate to say it, but it has affected the hell out of this season now. It's just too many has mounted down the stretch. And it's been kind of a theme for all of us. For many years, there's been times where Miami just has no luck and suffers injury after injury after injury. It's the oddest thing out there, man. It really is. By the way, Welton Rayom, a proud sponsor. We love talking about Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom. In fact, I was hanging out with Jeff yesterday and Daniel, and we're actually talking some crypto and stuff. They recently got in as they've seen the market turn around, like a lot of people that are now, kind of believing in it, which is understandable. But listen, the lawyers you can trust. They've got offices in Hollywood. They've got another office in the Keys. All right. Call them 954-966-4646. And I know we're out of hurricane season, but when we get back into it, I hope you don't need it. But if you do, save this number on the cell phone, 954-966-4646. Now, some of you might be dealing, unfortunately, with bankruptcy. They handle that. Criminal defense. They handle that. Business owner claims. They handle that. Personal injury, commercial litigation. They can handle all of those things. Obviously, homeowner property damage and condo damage from a storm or what happened to us that our car went through the wall of our house. Man, call Welton Rayom. What they did for us in just absolutely bullying around Progressive, that was awesome because Progressive thought they were going to bully us around. And Welton Rayom, brother, those are your tackles, and they're going to get it done. So call them. Great lawyers. And by the way, the new insurance laws that Mr. DeSantis passed does not benefit you. It benefits the companies. You know what benefits you? Having the best lawyers in your corner. So make sure you call Welton Rayom. 954-966-4646. All right? It's odd how the Dolphins can look so good sometimes and so bad sometimes. The inconsistency is troubling, and there's always inconsistency against the best teams. Yeah, you're right about that. It's all sweetness and light when you're joking with the media after blowing out a mediocre team, but now that it's time to put on your big boy pants and show us how you're being on the big stage. It's true. It's true. It's very true. It's very true. Last night, we had a little hard knocks. Got to get into it. The Vic Fangio thing was just, talking about Javon Holland. That was funny, man. It was just so staged and so set up. And it's like, just give us something, Vic. Just give us anything. All right, whatever. I wonder how they had to talk him into it, huh? He must have been like a bitter dude. Oh, all right, whatever. Yeah, come on. You can say something nice about Javon. Oh, Javon? Okay, yeah, I like Javon. Let me talk about Javon. So I'm sure it was funny. Now, there's this part where Tyreek tells his teammate, let's go. If you mess up, fuck it. If you mess up, fuck it. That was the quote from Tyreek. And listen, I understand maybe the message you're trying to deliver. Hey, don't think about making mistakes. But if it happens, you can't let it affect you. You got to move on. Okay. Which that might be the message. Not phrased the right way, but it might be the message. But then again, later on, the coach then addresses the team and says, frustrations about expectations, who gives a fuck about that? So when you're a car salesman and you need a 30-car sale for the month and you hit 25, you just say, fuck it. You're not pissed? Doesn't matter? Is that how it goes? Is that how you guys are personally in your lives? Would you like to make more money next year or less money? Fuck it, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. Really? And frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about? Really? I'll tell you who gives a fuck about that, Mike McDaniel. Ask the man, ask William Quigley, who's paying for like 6 season tickets. Ask him if he gives a shit about expectations. Why don't you ask NorCal? Why don't you ask Dolph Freaky? if they care about expectations. Oh, so you don't meet them? Oh, so your kid got a D when you know your kid's smart enough to get an A or B. Fuck it. Who cares about expectations? Maybe the front office cares about expectations because they're paying players. Oh, and by the way, if you don't meet expectations, I have to pay more players down the line. And maybe I then got to pay a quarterback, and then I have to have less players on. So they care. Do you think the owner cares about the expectations? Or do we all say just fuck it? Expectations were to try to start winning playoff games, right? Fuck it. According to Mike McDaniel, frustrations about expectations? Who gives a fuck about that? It's not important. It's not important to care about goals that you should be able to attain. After all, you lost the Tennessee game. Fuck it. Tyreek, you dropped the touchdown. Gives a fuck. Tyreek, you fumbled away the game against Kansas City. Who gives a fuck? Fuck it. I mean, that's what the coach says. Frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? So you're not meeting expectations. Who cares? I thought that was really interesting. And it's exactly what I was talking about. The environment. It's all fun and games. Maybe it's too much fun and games. That's what did I ask Matt Verderam? Hey, did Tyreek drop a bunch of touchdowns over there? Because he dropped like 4 at least this year. No, I don't remember. What did I talk about yesterday? I don't remember Mark Clayton dropping a bunch of touchdowns. No, I just don't. But if you mess up, fuck it. And frustrations, remember, guys, you Dolphin fans out there, you had expectations, right? Who gives a fuck about that? That's what your coach says. Your coach says frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? Interesting. It's a very interesting way of looking at things. We didn't hit our bonuses. We failed. Who cares? We looked unprepared. Who cares? Very interesting. Very interesting. Like that. That's a good way of kind of setting things up for your franchise, for players. It's a great way for them to feel like they, are doing the right thing out there. If you mess up, fuck it. Yeah. Okay. Thought it was very interesting. It's a really good attitude to have in life in general. When you what your kids should tell you? When they bring that report card and it says a D and you look at them and say, "Well, you're better than this." I know you have expectations, but fuck it. That's all. I mean, that's all your kid has to say, and you'd be all right with that, right? Fuck it, bro. Frustrations about it's all right to be a failure. It's all right to lose. It's all right to not live up to expectations. Why be frustrated about it? I mean, you guys accept failure all the time, right? In your lives. All the time. You welcome failure, right? If you fail, fuck it. It's not important. You failed that driving test. Not important. It's not. That's how it goes there. Okay. The question is, which team shows up against Buffalo? If we lose, we haven't made much improvement from last year, and it's a big disappointment. They're so injury-riddled right now. Javon Holland is nice. That's the only few words you will hear from Fangio. It's Hard Knocks. Yep. Dan B. Big O, I played other sports other than football. Never once heard that shit. That is a major problem with this team. Too soft. Finn's Rule. Hard Knocks sure made the Dolphins look better through editing. Even the Texans have been winning games with injuries to their receiving core and C.J. Stroud. That was dumb of Tyreek to say that. Like, Tyreek, I hope this attitude doesn't carry over, says Money O. Dan B. Big O, if anyone in the corporate world said that that's a fixable offense, that person would be gone the next day. Environment might be a little too loose and relaxed, like baggy Levi jeans. Green line, can the Dolphins get healthier by the first round? Not really. It's Hunt and Baker pretty much that we have left. I mean, Waddle, but it's a high ankle. I don't know how much healthier he's going to be in another week. Put it this way, he will not be healthy. There's even if he plays, they're going to wrap that shit up so tight, and I don't know what maybe they'll put in some kind of special boot inside his shoe or something. It'll be so rigged that, there's no way he can be himself. Big O, that's the problem in this world today, this mentality. Fuck it, bro. What can I tell you? I mean, frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? Pat Riley doesn't care if he doesn't win a championship. Pat Riley doesn't care if he wins in the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra, he never cares about winning. That entire Heat organization, they say these things all the time. I mean, you can see Pat Riley say, frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? Right? That's Riley's world. Right? I mean, Don Shula. I can just see Don Shula saying that also. Eric Spoelstra walking around. I mean, the guy that says we always have enough is going to tell you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, nah. So your head coach for the Miami Dolphins says frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? Eric Spoelstra loses to Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Karl Malone. In their prime, starting five. Eric Spoelstra has Whiteside, Rory Sparrow, Pat Cummings, rest in peace, John Shasky, and Jim Rowinski. At the end of the game, they lose by 42,000 points. Coach Spo, what happened? We had enough. We had enough. We were prepared. We had enough. We should have won that game. I'm mad. Coach, you have no players. You're playing with Jim Rowinski. We had enough. He had Larry Bird in that corner. He should have shut him out. That's the difference between Spo and Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? We're the Dolphins. We have no expectations. That's just what I want to hear from my leader. Who cares about expectations? You mean our owner is 84 years old and he was expecting us to start winning in the playoffs? He has another 84 years to live. We all do. I mean, I saw that yesterday. I don't know if you guys picked up on that on Hard Knocks, but I'm like, what? I rewinded it, and I rewinded it. I got to hear this again. Really? This is the attitude? Whoa. Okay. Now I know why everybody makes mistakes. There are no consequences. Flo, he had that wall. Remember? You made a mistake, run the wall, right? Or whatever the hell it was called. Other coaches, Shula make you run gassers, and Jimmy would make you do all kinds of shit and all that. But, Mike McDaniel, expectations. Who cares about expectations? Nobody cares about expectations. I mean, the Panthers, why did they bother even winning against the Coyotes last night? Come on. Why do they want to meet expectations? What, they want to go back to the Stanley Cup? Really? Wow. Interesting. It's just a really interesting stance in life. Oh, Mom, I know you had expectations for me, but I'm just going to live under a bridge. Oof, that was one that just kind of got me. Big O, that should have said fireable offense, NFL fixable, stupid smartphone, LOL. Chad says, Big O, as soon as I feel I can trust this team, they do something to lose that trust. My 35 years on this earth, this is the Dolphins' ass way to go out. I hope we have a great game plan Sunday. So do I. Super V, Big O, personally, if McDaniel focuses on just winning games and not trying to call plays, prove that Tyreek can get 2,000 yards and also continue to have Tua pass to make MVP when he should have been running. For me, it's too much worried about those silly things. The individual awards do nothing for me, man. They really don't. Waddle will be running only fly or post patterns, no sharp cuts. Yeah, if he plays, Drago. Guaranteed, bro. You are right. It feels like last year Miami did a better job against the good teams like the Bills, Lions, and Ravens with the rookie head coach compared to this year with McDaniel in his second season. Like I told you, the only real difference this year, Tua stayed healthy, bro. Tua stayed healthy. You won 9 games last year. 8 of them with Tua, 1 with Skyler, and that's it. And this year, you're going to win 11 or 12, and that's because Tua's healthy. That's all. It's not really because he's a better coach this year, because he's not, actually. He's really not. That's what I'm telling you. Next year is so big for him. Shit will hit the fan next year at the end if he's not. I guarantee you. NorCal says, Big O, I just called a customer and told them we thought we had the Rover fixed for $5,000, but it's still not fixed. Fuck it. We will fix it next time. Exactly. That's what you do, NorCal. So when somebody comes over and says, hey, my car's fixed. Oh, that was your expectation? I'm sorry. We're the place that doesn't meet expectations. We say fuck it to expectations. So try next month. Maybe your Rover will be here. Is that how it goes? You get back to the car wash and your car's sitting there full of mud and still dirty. Hey, man, it's been 2 hours. I said I would go to lunch, and you said it would be, oh, that was your expectation. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. We don't give a fuck about your expectations. I'm sorry. You thought it would be done in 2 hours. Well, we had to go out and hang out. This guy was rolling the joint. The other guy over there is drinking. We didn't have time to get to your car. Sorry. I mean, you can't have expectations in this world. So now we know that Mike McDaniel, not a fan of expectations. So maybe he's not a fan of Kiss because he doesn't have great expectations. I lost most of you out there. I think great expectations is I don't think maybe it's in the Destroyer album. Could be. I know it's in the double platinum because that's a best of. I want to say Great Expectations is from the Destroyer album. Look up Kiss Destroyer album and tell me if the song Great Expectations is in that one. Anyway, Big O, after this Sunday's loss, how has the outcome of the season changed in your mind? I have none. I don't have expectations anymore. Right? I mean, that's what McDaniel showed us. No, listen, I think I picked him to win 12. My problem now is fixing, the head coach. It is? Destroyer album? Damn, I'm good. We got it, baby. Anyway, so I'm just disappointed in McDaniel right now. Not the team. I'm fine with the players. I'm fine with the front office. The coaching staff has got to do better next year. Much better. They've got themselves a lot of more talent than, it reminds me a lot of the crystal ball stuff. Like Mike McDaniel has the most balanced team any Dolphin coach has ever had since Don Shula. I'm not kidding you. He's got the best front office since the Don Shula, Bobby Beathard days, and Thomas and Young and all those guys from the 70s. This is the best front office since then. This is the most balanced team since then. So Mike McDaniel has the best Dolphins team in decades, and he's underachieving. So next year, I know that he doesn't care about expectations. He doesn't give a fuck about that. I get it. He already told us that last night in the Hard Knocks episode. But unfortunately, there will be expectations. And if you don't meet them by the end of next year, mark my words, all hell is breaking loose. Hey, have you heard the news? Mike McDaniel has not gotten it yet. By the way, that is another Kiss song called All Hell's Breaking Loose. And that one is from the Lick It Up album. Any Kiss fan right now watching is going, damn, this dude just nailed 2 Kiss references in one point. Okay. And 2 songs that aren't necessarily like the household songs of Kiss. Got to also say that. I mean, if you know Great Expectations, then you're a hardcore Kiss fan. Okay? Because most Kiss fans, they know, Detroit Rock City and the obvious songs, right? They don't know Great Expectations. Only us hardcore Kiss fans know a song like Great Expectations. Ah, yes. Chad says, it's Destroyer O. Finn's Rule says, I love the helmet cam. It is cool, by the way. I do agree with that. Big O, after that comment he made on Hard Knocks, do you think some of these coaches are going to go elsewhere with that? Who would want to come here with that mentality? Well, we're going to find out. Dougie Fresh says, oh, T-Rex is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but A Tribe Called Quest, the B-52s, and De La Soul, well, fuck it. And it is so true, isn't it? All three deserve to be in way before T-Rex. How about if we win the Super Bowl this year? Well, hey, bro, if we win the Super Bowl this year, then I guess I got to put on a G-string and run down 8th Street. Okay? All right? So we'll do that. We'll run from Versailles to the Coretta and order a cafecito in a G-string. Okay? That should be a sight to see in the middle of Little Havana. Okay? So if we win the Super Bowl, you've got me running in a G-string from Versailles to La Carreta. It's a couple blocks. I can't run that much more than that. I'll die after that. And then I'll order un cafecito. And we'll put it all on YouTube since most of you won't be there for it. If you want to be there for it, we'll set up a time and a place, and then you guys can film me doing something really, really, probably the craziest thing I would have ever done in my life. John Russell says, I'm sure Ross didn't have any expectations when he tampered for a Hall of Fame QB and hired an OC that was a supposed offensive genius. No expectations. None of us have expectations. Sean has no expectations in anything. He's just fine. Larry Greya says, been a Fins fan since 71, just turned 60, and I feel your pain. I do agree with you that McDaniel does some dumb things. I remember buying the Destroyer album when it came out. Nice job by you, sir. What a great album Destroyer is. It's my favorite Kiss album. I get it. You can't be a player's coach. No, I don't think you can. I think you can be a player's coach to a certain extent that you understand players, but you can't be friends with them. Yeah, exactly. But he keeps competition. Open competition, he tells you. Exactly. He's a player's coach, but he's a competitive player's coach too. He'll tell you, hey, you're doing great. Doesn't mean you'll keep the job because the next guy's going to be competing with you. Hate to bring this up, but the fuck it mentality goes hand in hand with alcohol and sobriety with accountability. Should we be concerned? I have no idea about that, dude. Is that what they do in alcohol? And I don't know, bro. When they say fuck it? Like Maggie Q in that movie where she wipes out those dudes and she finally has a drink of beer at the end and she shoots out her 6-year coin. Is that what you're saying? Oh, the Bills are going to kill the Fins. The last game against the Ravens was demoralizing. I don't know. Maybe the Bills don't have any expectations. Maybe they say fuck it and they don't want to show up. What do you think? I mean, you know, if Mike McDaniel can say frustrations about expectations, who gives a fuck about that? Maybe that's what the Bills will say this week. We've got the division on the line. We got to go out there. I can't. Who cares? What expectation? You know, the Bills Mafia probably is expecting the Bills to win, but the Bills are going to say, forget expectations. That's it. Big O was just thinking about your Kiss reference and a hell of a great tune. I had rock and roll over a mini reel-to-reel. Wow. That is pretty cool. Every Outkast fan wanted a rap album, but Andre said, fuck it. I'm dropping a flute album. You need to be more their coach than their best friend. Probably it. letting Lamar sit in the pocket for 5 minutes was stupid. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, hit the button thing again. Hold on.
It's all good.
There we go. All right. So everybody always says the best thing to kind of defense Lamar is to keep him in the pocket.
Right.
But also, I guess the back end of that is you don't let his receivers run wide open down the field, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just like,
and it wasn't even like Lamar scrambled either.
no,
I mean,
nothing.
It was not.
There
like,
was no pressure, and there was no pressure on the receivers either. Like there was no they were given all the space in the
they were
world.
wide open. I think that was the problem, just how wide open those guys were. Because I think the front,
any QB would have killed the Dolphins.
I think the front did what the game plan was to keep Lamar contained with inside those four.
But they didn't pressure with the four.
Yeah, well, they didn't pressure, but also they didn't matter because those guys were open.
Yeah,
Lamar wasn't sitting. I mean, maybe it took a while, but it wasn't like.
And sure enough, throughout the game, I kept hearing, well, at least Flo and Boyer did better against Lamar than this guy did because they would blitz the crap out of him. Remember, they did the zero blitz, and they were just all over his ass because they didn't give him time to think.
Yeah.
And if you give him time to sit back there and let people wide open, of course anybody's going to burn your ass, dude.
Yeah, but also, I think once Xavier Howard went out,
yeah,
they didn't have anybody back there to cut. You could have blitzed them, and guys were open as soon as they were off the line.
Yeah,
and Duke Riley got exposed for not being able to cover.
Yeah, he can't cover.
So
he's a backup linebacker.
I don't know what else.
He's a great
they could have
dude,
done. You could
great
have
special teamer, just a backup.
I guess the best thing you could have done was just blitz and then just whatever. If you hit somebody, you hit somebody. I mean, I guess that could have been the going out.
It's Larry Izzo all over again. You love Larry Izzo as a special teams player. You never wanted Larry Izzo playing linebacker. Ever. 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 Never. If you had Larry Izzo playing linebacker, you were done at that spot. Now, if he was playing special teams, you had one of the best special teams linebackers. And when I look at Duke Riley, I see Larry Izzo, a guy that I like on special teams, don't want him as a linebacker. And that happens all the time. We had a guy here by oh my God. Okay. Now I know his name, and I forgot about this. I don't want to mention it now. Because it's not right. It's not right. But, I'll do it because I have to make the damn point. We had a guy here by the name of O.J. Brigance. Fantastic human being. Fantastic special teams linebacker. Not really a starter. Then he went to Baltimore. It's interesting how we just played Baltimore. And he became a staple of their special teams unit, but he also got paralyzed. If I remember correctly, O.J. Brigance is paralyzed, if I'm correct. And a phenomenal human being. I mean, one of the best people. So is Larry Izzo, by the way. Super cool guy. By the way, Duke Riley, oh my God, one of the best talkers out there. You don't want any of them playing linebacker. So I've seen that lots and lots of times over the years. Big O, I appreciate that you were the only radio host that ran the station northeast style when you were at QAM, like taking calls. Well, I like fans. I like you all out there. I mean, you know, they don't want you on radio at all. You know what I'm saying? That's why I read. It's the same thing as taking your phone calls. But, yeah, in regular radio, they don't want anything to do with callers or fans or listeners or all that. They really don't give a shit about you guys. That's not how I roll. I may have fun at your fandomness at times because, you know, you don't really think logically. I'll have fun at that with fans, but I love fans because I'm a fan too. And without you guys, we ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to take any shit from anybody. But without you guys, I appreciate all of you. And anybody that's gotten to know me, you know how I am. You know how I really am. So It's lots of you listeners have been able to get to know me, so you know how I am. Yes, sir. Oh, he got Lou Gehrig's in 2007. That's what it was. Yeah, one of the really good people you'll meet in this business, dude. OJ Brigance is gold, the gold standard of human beings. Let's see. Dan B. This is why they played the way they played on Sunday. No expectations. Fuck it. You win, you lose. Your loser mentality. Oh, please tell me, why did Missy Elliott get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Fuck it. You know, she got also into the Writers Hall of Fame. Good for her, too, man. Excuse me. What's your thought on saying what got you hired is what gets you fired? Flores was hired and fired because he's a tough guy. Now McDaniel is everyone's best bud. Is this saying mostly true? Sometimes it is. And, you know, and this is kind of what we have to live with. And this is where this becomes one hell of a challenge for Mike McDaniel. Because you cannot become someone else that you're not, because the team will see right through it. So now he's got to find a way. Well, maybe not. He is kind of stubborn, so maybe he thinks there's nothing wrong with the way he does things. Okay? And we'll find out. But if one way doesn't work, and then you've got to try to find another way, that is very tricky. Incredibly tricky. So it's a dangerous path that he's on right now. I hope he figures it out, because I don't want any coaching changes. But I'm telling you, a year from now, if the same stuff happens, I can see it already. You all out there will be screaming to fire his ass, and the media will be too. It's coming. I'm telling you. And he's got to fix this, and quickly. He's got a year. Trust me. Yes, sir.
And I guess that kind of blows away the whole Fangio's the bad cop, Mike McDaniel's the good cop.
Right.
Because it doesn't look like that's the situation at
No.
all.
No, not at all. Good point. Good point. I'm glad you pointed out that BS Tyreek Hill was talking about, that if you make a mistake, fuck it. Yeah, you make a mistake, you should be incredibly pissed off, and you screwed up. And you should be held accountable. You should hold yourself accountable. Now, on the flip side, while he says that, at the podium, he admitted that this was his worst game in his career. So, is he just saying it for show on the podium, and then mic'd up in the game? That's being him, right? Which one is it? You know what I'm saying? It can't bother you that much on the podium if you're saying fuck it in real life. And by the way, your head coach is saying frustrations about expectations. Who gives a fuck about that? Okay. Try telling that to a Fortune 500 company that you didn't, meet the goals of an investor, and that you lost them money. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost the business $150 million in investments this year. Fuck it. But wait a minute. Everybody else made money. You're the only one that didn't. Expectations. I'm not going to get mad about that. Those are your expectations, not mine. I make money? Great. I don't? Fuck it. I just wish we all had that. I wish we could all get away with that. Your boss comes in and says, hey, I looked at the line, and, on the production, wait a minute, hold on a second. Like, everybody else was averaging 987 units made per day. You are at 632. This kind of a pace, you will set us back 30% by the end of the month. Oh, those were your expectations. I'm sorry, man. Fuck it, bro. I mean, who cares? Who cares if I don't meet your expectations? What are you going to do? Go get somebody else? You're going to fire me? Yes, sir.
No, I think maybe Tyreek probably misspoke a little bit, but then I'm thinking about it too, though. But when you look at all the examples of everything, and going back to what you talked about yesterday with Tua, when he did on the sideline, he's like, "That."
No, that's not what you're supposed to. Right? No, dude, that's a window you're not supposed to throw in. I don't want to hear Tua. No, dude, that's your coach instilling that crap in. Can you imagine going back to say, it's just a little bit, Nick? No, you asshole, you're not supposed to throw that ball. That's what the coach is supposed to tell the quarterback. It ain't, it's just a little late. No, you're not supposed to throw that ball. That was a bad pass. The first one that was hurried, and the second one that you're trying to put in between three people. I get it. Your coach says, fuck it. But that's not the real world. That's not the world you live in. That's not the world I live in. We run this, just me and him. We don't say fuck it to anything. And we work. So there's no just fuck it. I saw that yesterday and I was like, wow. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco, great people, custom printing and embroidery, man. Call them 3A Graphics. If your company needs it, your club, your fantasy league, your business, maybe you're going on some kind of excursion and you want everybody to wear the same shirt or something, 3A Graphics can help you out. They're in Hialeah. Here's the number. Save it on the cell phone, 786-618-1443. Panthers and Coyotes. Panthers defeat the Coyotes last night, 4-1. Next up, they've got Vegas tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Heat and Lakers tonight at 10 o'clock. Last night, number 17, FAU defeats East Carolina, the Pirates, 79-64. The Owls improved to 11-3. John L. Davis and Elijah Martin both scored 20 points in the game. Saturday, they're at Charlotte for a 4 p.m. tip. Tonight, NSU puts their undefeated streak on the line against Florida Southern College, 7:30 at the Jenkins Fieldhouse. And on Sunday, the Miami Dolphins will host the Bills, and the Bills are still favored by 3 on the road. Over and under is 50. Bills minus 162 on the money line. Dolphins plus 136 on the money line. And on Monday, Washington is taking on Michigan for the national championship. 7:35 kickoff. Michigan is favored by 4.5. The over and under is 55.5. Washington plus 154. Michigan minus 185 on the money line. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Is it just me? Or do I love Washington plus 4.5? I'm just saying. I saw that, and I already took Washington plus 4.5. I think Michael Penix played his ass off this past week. I like Washington is that team that can punch you in the mouth, dude. I don't look at them as that typical Pac-12 team that you can push around. I think they got a little edge to them, bro. Yes, sir.
They've been gearing up for that Big Ten.
Yeah. That's you know what? Good. Another good point by you, Tim. You're on a roll.
And now this is a Big Ten matchup.
Yes, you're right about that. That's kind of why, maybe that's why I look at them that way. I didn't look at it that way. That's a very good point on your part. Yep. I'm picking. I already took the 4.5. I normally wait for live and start watching and all that, but I got a feeling that, if Washington takes a lead early, then that line will change the other way, and then the 4.5 becomes a bargain. So that's why I put a little wager on and then took it at 4.5 at the moment. Chad says the fuck it attitude has to be smoking good stuff, because that's how I get when I smoke. Dishes need to be done. Smoke one and say, fuck it. They'll be done later. You think Garfinkel, Greer, Stephen Ross are having a talk with Coach McDaniel? I hope there's an intervention. I talked about that yesterday but I want Garfinkel, McKenzie, Allen, and Greer. I want those 4 guys to be there in the intervention. Comparing in his second year as Dolphins head coach, how long would Shula stand for a player who said, fuck it, a snowball in the sun would last longer? Exactly. Bro, that doesn't fly. You can't tell Spo. Just stay in the today now. We know you can't tell Shula and you can't tell Riley. Fuck it. You're frustrated about expectations? Who cares about that? It's not important. Really. So you married her. You married him. You love each other. He or she. They're going out and sleeping all over with all kinds of people. And you confront them. And they tell you, well, wait a minute, you had expectations that I was going to be, with just you? Come on. Who cares about expectations? Really? Does it really bother you? Are you frustrated about the expectations that you thought I was going to be faithful just to you? Come on. Literally, fuck it. Oh, I mean, it's endless. Yes, sir.
Tyreek and Chase Claypool catching touchdowns. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Tyreek catching it of the beautiful bomb by 2 in the Kansas City game. Fuck it. Getting stripped and scoring 7. Fuck it. Last year when Tyreek dropped a touchdown against Buffalo, and Trent Sherfield did too. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Wait a minute. You were averaging 7 yards a carry against Buffalo and you decided to stop running? What, are you mad about that? Come on. You can't have frustrations about expectations. Who cares about that? Giovanni says, I'm the guy that watches Panthers and Heat late games on the West Coast. Tonight, I do not see this a close game. Too many players out. Might be brutal. Let's hope for the best. Lakers say, fuck it. Basketball Jones says, Michael Penix is fire. He played his. I'm taking Washington, bro. Taking Washington. Anybody feel like me? Take Washington plus 4.5? Because I actually think Washington's going to win the game. I really do. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think they're going to eke one out. I really do. And so for me, I saw the 4.5 and I said, I think I'm going for it. I got expectations. I've got great expectations. Tyreek, I was going to catch a touchdown, but then I got high. And then I got high. And then I got high. My wife had no expectations marrying me. I got lucky there. Sounds like the great expectations everyone has for Larsa Pippen. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's one Pippen that tips everybody. Yes.
No, I was going to say Chad got lucky. His wife just said, fuck it.
Yeah, basically. Giovanni says the Big O fuck it show. Yeah. Today we've cussed a little bit, but I mean, I have to go with the theme of the coach and the player. There's a bunch of people that did not watch Hard Knocks, and they're like, they really said that? Oh, I got to see this. I haven't seen a lot on the media about that. I did not see anybody in the media write about that at all. Usually they write stuff, but I haven't seen them point. I think it
probably got glossed over until it's made. Then like, oh wait, did he say that? Because they glossed over a lot of the talking points pretty quickly, and then they're under the next scene, and then they throw Fangio's face in there, sitting in the back row this time.
Maybe we'll start that fire.
Yeah, the Jason Sanders there, they started off good.
Yeah. No. Ken Christensen says that's a deal, Big O. He likes it. Michigan won't be able to cover Huskies receivers. Penix is very accurate and has pocket presence. He's played well. I was very impressed with him. Tyreek is too busy catching baby mamas versus catching TDs. He does have quite a few of those. You guys wanted this coach. You guys got it. Nobody wanted this coach. You're wrong. None of us knew this guy. What are you talking about? Miami's the only place where you can get hired and fired in the same year. That's not true. That happened in Arizona. They fired and they hired and last year. Didn't somebody just get hired and fired? Yeah, somebody just got hired and fired, I want to say. I'm pretty sure of that. So it just doesn't happen here. Cap for Life, way to be like absolutely inaccurate about everything. We wanted this coach. None of us knew who Mike McDaniel was. That came out of left field. Nobody wanted this coach. Not one person ever said the words Mike McDaniel because none of us knew who he was. But hey, man, you stay inaccurate. Fuck it. Let's see. Huh? Frank Reich in Carolina. Oh, yes, he was 1 year. Yes. They had just hired, this idiot coach, Tepper, they just fined him $300,000. Yeah, they fired him in the first year. Frank Reich, one and done. Yeah, McDaniel's not getting fired, bro. He won't even get fired. Oh, Josh McDaniels. Yeah, that was 2. Yeah, and they just fired somebody after his second year too, right? Or no, maybe it was his third year. Right now, who they just fire recently? No, Staley was like 4 years. No. It was somebody after their second. Was it the Cleveland guy? Was it his second? No, not Cleveland. Somebody just got fired, I think, and it was their second year as a coach. Oh, the Denver coach. I think that was it. Was that who's the right? Who's the one before? Was that like 2? Was it Fangio? It was after Fangio. Oh, was that? Who was that? Wasn't it like 1 or 2 years for that person too? I know there was somebody recently. Oh, Nathaniel Hackett was last year. Very good. That's it. Nathaniel Hackett. Was he a 1 or 2 year guy? 1 year. Look at that. Yeah, but for Cap for Life, it only happens here. And we all wanted Mike McDaniel, according to Cap for Life. Talk about a guy that has now 0 credibility. Cap for Life. 0 credibility. Right. So, and Fangio was 2 years, I think, right? Oh, so 3 years. Wow. Yeah, he couldn't build a staff either. That was his problem. Oh, is there any amount of money you would take to work for somebody like Tepper if you were a head coach candidate? I mean, listen, for a head coach, you would take the money, my brother, because even if he fires you after a year, he's paying you for 4 because you're going to get a 4-year guaranteed deal. So if I know I got to work for an asshole, brother, you can fire me. I can just say, what's the theme of today? Fuck it. Right? I mean, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Mr. Tepper. Are you frustrated about expectations? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about that. And that's it.
Yeah, but Tepper will throw stuff at you.
Yeah, he's going to throw everything at you. You got to be careful. Yeah, you got to go in there with like a riot shield that the cops have. Clear riot shield. Hey, Mr. Tepper, how you doing? Is there a reason why you're talking to me behind the shield? Well, your reputation. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Tepper? You got a temper, Mr. Tepper. So, yeah, there's no amount of money that I'll work in radio, okay? But for an NFL team, yeah, that's millions. You're not going to give me millions in radio, so I don't want to ever go back to radio. I have zero interest in going back to radio. Now, for an NFL team, if you want to hire me, it'd be really stupid on your part, but I'll take the money. Okay? That'll set up my wife and my daughter, which that's all I give a shit about. I'm good with that. Completely wrong. Most fans wanted Brian Daboll as a head coach. I wanted Doug Peterson. Nobody, true Fin fan. You can't really argue with Cap for life. He has zero facts. I mean, it is one of the dumbest statements in the world and most ignorant and completely off to say we all wanted McDaniel when none of us knew who the hell he was. It came out of like left field. Nobody interviewed the guy in the entire league. It was just Miami that interviewed him. Apparently only Chris Greer or Tom Garfinkel or somebody only knew him. And that's it, because none of us knew who the hell Mike McDaniel was. Like, hey, who's that? And then we had to kind of see the person and get to know the person and all that kind of stuff. So, too funny. Reports out of New England. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Sean mentioned it the other day that they would be thinking of bringing in McDaniel, which would be really funny. Big O, do you think Howard going out last game made a big difference, or we were getting killed? I think we were getting killed no matter what. Plus, X has not been himself for a while. They've picked on him throughout the year. So, let me correct myself, he says. Miami's the only place where you can get hired and fired every 3 years for the span of 12. They do that everywhere also. Big O, do you think Howard is going out? Let's see. I stand corrected. Yeah, Cap, but you still have no credibility. Andrew Moore, it also means no more excuses. Everyone thought McDaniel looked like a high Starbucks barista before he got hired. Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody ever talked about Mike McDaniel at all. Big O, what's going on with the Miami Dolphins? Do you think we could beat Buffalo? I think you need to rewind. Is what you need to do, my brother. Okay? When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA, Sports Business Report. All right. We love our friends at KSDT CPAs. And remember, if you're doing your taxes for personal or business, nobody better. KSDT CPAs, please use that QR code. Tell them that Big O sent you, especially for businesses. I mean, tax season's coming up in April, so you'll need that personally. But for businesses, KSDT guides so many different businesses. That's why they're in Forbes' top 200 firms. And they can help you. As you know, those of you that own businesses, tax help is kind of needed, and guidance is needed throughout the entire year. And that's what they're there for. Not just to do your taxes, but to consult with you and help you in different areas from payroll and planning and whatever it is, retirement, insurance, you name it, they're there for you, man. I mean, KSDT really can help your business grow. So please use that QR code and tell them that Big O sent you. Also, excuse me, if you're looking for work, they are hiring in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and they've got an office now in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you live here in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, we've got offices in all 3 counties, and now another office in Charlotte, North Carolina. KSDT CPAs. All right, the National Football League on Thursday night, their viewership grew by 24% on Amazon Prime Video. The average is 11.86 million viewers compared to 9.58 last year. The final game between the Browns and the Jets averaged 10.29 million viewers, up 6% from the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tennessee Titans finale last season. Viewership increased in 14 of the 15 Thursday night broadcasts, and out of the 12 Thursday night games average, more than 10 million viewers, doubling last year's total. 5 games surpassed 2022's viewership high of 1303 for the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's amazing stuff. And in the demographics, by the way, young adults 18 to 34, they average 2.4 million. 18 to 49, 5.49 million, up 17%. All right. And 48 and a half, the median age is 48 and a half years old. From last year was 47. So it got a little older. And that's because I think as time goes on, older people will get more technologically sound, and then the younger people will be getting older, but they're getting older with technology, so they're getting smarter. So it's just kind of a process that we have to go through. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of older people. Like I met a gentleman at Walk-Ons that was a listener of mine at QAM, and he had no idea about the podcast and about the daily live show on YouTube. And so he saw that we were doing the broadcast there and all that. And I said, we're on YouTube. And he goes, oh, okay, I have a problem with it. And, he easily was in his early 60s, probably. Maybe late 50s. Maybe I'm insulting the man. I apologize if I do. But I understand. It's like the crypto thing. I have a hard time talking to anybody about crypto that's my age. If they're older, oh my God, forget about it. I go back and forth with one gentleman, Bob, and he's an older gentleman like I am, and he understands crypto, but he's like one of the few that I get to talk to about crypto. Most of my friends that are my age or older, they don't know shit about crypto. They're completely intimidated by it. And the same thing with apps and things like that. It's just older people have a problem with adjusting to smartphones and all the changes of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting there. But anyway, that is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Let's do, we haven't done any music history. We should do a little musica history here on the show. Let's get to that and tell you what happened today on January 3rd. All right, we start off in 1970, the Beatles recorded I, Me, Mine. It would be the last song the group would record together. In 2014, on this date, Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers passed away at the age of 74. In 72, 2 weeks of rehearsal for Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon tour began at the Bermondsey in London, England. In 2003, The Clash's Joe Strummer was cremated. The funeral procession took his remains past West London's Elgin pub, where the band played some of their first gigs. Now, let's give you a little bit of birthdays today on January 3rd. See what kind of list we have today. A lot of TikTok and Instagram stars. Greta Thunberg, the activist. She is 21 years old. Eli Manning, former quarterback, is 43 years old. Michael Schumacher, who dominated Formula One for many years, 55 years old. Mel Gibson, the stinking anti-Semite, is 68 years old. Let's see. Katie McGrath, actress, is 41. John Paul Jones, bassist, Led Zeppelin. He is 78. And them Crooked Vultures, by the way. He's also part of that band. I believe he's the one that started that band. And Danica McKellar, actress. She is 49 years old. Danica McKellar is who? Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years. How about that? So there you go. That's birthdays today. Yeah. By the way, Motley Crue guitarist John Five shared some details about new music the band is working on and revealed that one track that Nikki Sixx has written harkens back to the sound of the group's debut album, Too Fast for Love. It says, we've recorded some songs with Bob Rock, producer, just the other day. Nikki called me and he was playing guitar over the phone and he played a riff and he'll sing this melody and it sounded like it could be something off of Too Fast for Love. Too fast for love. Anyway, it's just a natural for him to write these songs, and I have loved, and lots of other people have loved. I think we're always going to make new music because, man, this guy is pumping out amazing lyrics and great music. When we all get together, it's pretty magical. Only problem is that Vince Neil can't sing like me. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird. You're going to do that, but you can't sing. And the music is probably not that good either. I got to tell you, Sean, I know something you're waiting for, and everyone else over there that is watching right now or listening on the podcast at any time, I know you guys are waiting for the same thing. I know you are. Pacquiao Mayweather 2.
Fuck it.
The announcement was made by Filipino boxer and Risen Fighting Federation head Nobiki Sakibara at New Year's Eve event at Saitama Super Arena. We were trying to buy that crypto when it was coming out, Saitama, a couple of years ago. In Japan, Pacquiao first apologized to the crowd as he was not involved in any bouts in 2023 after signing a contract with Risen. Then confirmed that the big fight against Mayweather will take place in Japan in 2024. I'm excited for that. Thank you, he said, and did not reveal any additional details. The rematch of their 2015 bout will most likely be an exhibition, not a professional match. Wasn't it an exhibition the last time? Both boxers have already professionally retired and have only gone back in the ring for exhibition matches ever since. Their 2015 fight is a best-selling pay-per-view bout that ripped off approximately 4.6 million buyers. I'm sorry, I added that part. And saw Mayweather win a unanimous decision at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Like, who would watch this shit? Like, you have got to be the biggest freaking loser If any of my friends say they're paying for this, they will not hear the end of it from me. Okay? I'm just warning you. Okay? So if any of my buds are watching this, I'm just telling you, if I find out that you are actually going to pay for this, you're not going to hear the end of it from me. Okay? Just want you to know that. And apparently you can't hear this because when you hear the show again, last time we were here at Top Gun, you can't hear them on the. They can? Oh, they're hearing it? Oh, final. Because in the last time they wasn't. Oh, they didn't say anything last time? Okay. All right. But we are here at Top Gun Indoor Range. He has it? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We are here at, well, obviously, Top Gun is one of our top sponsors, baby. So, yes, we are here at Top Gun Indoor Range, and we're going to set up a shooting competition at the end of this month. We're going to have prizes and giveaways. 2015 Southwest 114th place. And again, the air quality here is outstanding, dude. Okay, you are going to love it. They've been around for 4 years. They've got a great family atmosphere here, man. It's a really cool thing. They've got mini leagues and mini tournaments. They've got an archery area also. It's the only indoor archery facility in Dade County. So it's pretty cool. 18 different lanes, 25 yards deep. I don't know if you can tell from behind me. You probably can't because of the targets are in front. And you notice how they place the targets? It's not like some stupid little clothespin and the thing is like flopping over in the corners and all that. They don't do that here, bro. It's professional. It's done the right way. Okay? And they have self-defense classes for the ladies. It's very important that the ladies know how to use your weapons at home because if they're alone, you want them trained, all right? And so they've got self-defense classes even in Spanish here at Top Gun. And Glock, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, they've got all the top brands. So make sure you check it out here at Top Gun and tell them that Big O sent you. Call them 305-306-7333, and we'll give you the date. We're going to have a broadcast here in the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to have the shooting contest at the final week of this month, and we'll have some fun. Okay? We know you're at Top Gun Indoor Range. Sounds like a Chinese firecracker festival behind you. I know. Only Big O could do a podcast with guns actually shooting in the background. Yep. I mean, we're at a gun range. That's kind of the idea. This is one fight I'm definitely streaming for free. I wouldn't even watch it for free, Chad. In fact, you could pay me and I'm not going to watch it. I have zero interest in watching Mayweather and Pacquiao. I mean, it was 7 years too late when they did it the first time. I hated that they did it so late that we never got the real fight, man. If we were cheated out of one of the great fights of all time if you would have gotten both guys at their peak. If you would have done it 6-7 years before the first fight in what they say was 2018 or 15. So if you would have done it in 2008 or 9, we would have gotten ourselves one great, maybe one of the best fights of all time. One of the top 10 fights of all time. And we were cheated completely out of it. Sucks. They made their stupid money, and that's all they cared about. They didn't care about really putting together a really good fight. My wife grew up with my dad that hunts, so she's on point. F around and find out. You got to teach the ladies in your life how to use a gun. You have to. It's imperative. And they have classes here. And even in Spanish. You have to do it, man. You have to. Do not put your family members at home at a disadvantage because they may be scared or intimidated or anything like that. Their lives are on the line. So you got to make sure you do it right. I'm telling you, I just, so I was out here with my wife and my daughter. We did the archery range, and then obviously everybody shot, the gun too at home and all that. We shot it here, obviously, and always get them prepared. But we did a lot of the archery here, actually, which is really cool, by the way. By the way, I suck at archery. Holy shit, I suck at archery. I need a lot of practice. A lot of practice. Brett Dodger says, Big O, not all of us old farts are clueless about crypto or technology as we understand long-term financing, traditional or otherwise. I didn't say all, but I said most. Most people my age, I can't have a conversation with about crypto. They're so misinformed and lost, and they say all kinds of stupid shit that people have been telling them that are misinformed and lost and don't know anything about it. It's really frustrating. Younger people, they adjust to it so quickly. They're already on point pretty much with that stuff. They get it. But older people just don't get it. Bitcoin about to hit 43,000 again. It's at 42,902. It'll be back at 45 in the next day or two, and once they approve the ETFs, we're gonna have one hell of a pump, and it's coming. Do not get intimidated whatsoever by this little dip. Okay, this little dip means absolutely nothing. All right, we thank Matt Verderam for joining us. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man that masters this entire platform and puts it together every single day. We appreciate all of you that tuned in. Those of you, of course, that send in a super chat, thank you, thank you, thank you. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. You can send in a Cash App or Venmo anytime you're watching or listening to the broadcast. Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, we always love our Bitcoin donations. Nothing like a Bitcoin donation. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, Hialeah Park. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.